Hey, Power Crew. Welcome back to the Power Network. I'm Amy. We're doing a Nancy Guthrie update, but we're looking at it through a different lens, the trauma vulture lens. Lauren Matthias of Hidden True Crime went live last night, and the coverage was both successful and unsuccessful. She also brought in an Arizona reporter she's worked with before, so today we're taking a look at that relationship and how this story is being handled. I'm rolling the intro while the algorithm brings the rest of the Power Crew in. Shout out to my replay crew and my dragonflies. Love you, babies.
Carefully strumming this old guitar again. Words rolling out into our fire. If heaven had wings, I would steal them and fly away with you for a while. Hearing the essence of gratitude, your dreamy little smile on my lips. I miss my cue, but baby, I had you. Miss my cue, but I had you for that day.
Here in the essence of gratitude, it's good to be back here with my Power Crew on this Thursday morning. Good morning, everyone. How is everyone doing? Who caught the pop-up live last night? I almost went live and streamed it, but I had just taken my nighttime medication and I was like, nah, we'll just record it and go over it in the morning. Ugh. Dr. John is a bunch of word salad, just like Chat GPT, in my opinion. So we've got that. And I also noticed that she has this, it's a new reporter for me. I hadn't seen this reporter before that she is working with, and it got me wondering. Her name is Briana Whitney. I know that she's done past work with other reporters that we have found to be highly sus, like Susan Hendricks. So I thought we would look at Briana and see who she is. Does she really know who she's working with? That kind of deal. So let me get my screen all situated and we'll get going. Oops, that's the wrong screen. Hold on a second. Okay. Ugh, I gotta take my sweatshirt off too. It's warm in here all of a sudden. It's been really weird in Florida. It's been so cold at night, but then getting in the 70s during the day. It's like getting down in the 20s at night, and then it'll go up in the 70s. I think. Good morning, Carolina. Okay, let me get myself out of the way. So, Lauren from Hidden True Crime has jumped on the latest big story, which is Savannah Guthrie's mother is missing. And as of February 5th, the search for Savannah Guthrie's 84-year-old mother, Nancy Guthrie, is entering its fifth day as an active criminal investigation. There's been some latest developments. There's been a video plea for proof of life. This is what we're going to go over today, and this is what Lauren went over last night in her live, which when we get into it, I'll say what I have to say. I happened to watch this whole live last night because I was recording it. But Savannah Guthrie, joined by her siblings Annie and Cameron, released a tearful video appeal on Instagram addressing reported ransom notes. She stated the family is ready to listen but demanded proof of life, noting that deep fact technology makes them cautious of any unverified communication. So they're feeling very weary of all of this and they just want some proof. There have been multiple ransom notes. There's been some released to TMZ. There was one to KOLD TV, which the news reporter that she got on her show yesterday works for. There's been no suspects, although they are looking at, it's been reported, the brother-in-law, and it's been reported that they seized the car, but that's only been reports. I don't think anyone's ever validated that. And I do urge you to remember that they always look at the family first and work their way out. So my panties aren't up in a twist about that yet. It is like of notability, but you know, it's what they do. There was federal involvement. President Donald Trump has reportedly spoken with Savannah Guthrie and ordered full federal law enforcement support to assist local Arizona authorities. And I did see on Brian Entenmann's X that he saw the FBI arrive this morning. He was reporting that. So that's the latest update. I just wanted to give you the update on what's going on in the case this morning as we begin. The disappearance, just so you know, the disappearance happened on January 31st, 2026 at 9:30 p.m. at her home in North Tucson, Arizona. She was reported missing the following morning after failing to appear at church. Thank you. It actually does feel a little bit better. I'm able to stand for like a minute at a time, and I was able to actually make breakfast this morning. I have not been able to stand for longer than like 30 seconds, if that. So yes, it is improving, still having a lot of pain. And it is now like pain when I sit. Before I wasn't having too much pain. I think because I've been sitting and laying so much, I'm getting that kind of pain. I don't know, like for those that have had back surgery or back issues, you know, like the longer you sit and don't move, it will increase your pain. So that's what's happening. But thank you. Thank you for thinking of me. Good morning, random old lady. What's this? What's what of this? What's what? We're talking about Savannah Guthrie's missing mother, Nancy, and there is a corrupt news journalist that is jumping on this case. Corrupt, in my opinion, that stabs other people in the back and is very harmful. And we're going to take a look at her coverage to keep eyes on her. Morning, chat friends. Good morning, everyone. So good to see everyone coming in. Okay, so that's where we're at. Let me get my screen back situated. So this was a pop-up live that she did last night. It was 11 hours ago. I haven't even come in. I need to refresh it because I haven't even come in to check the comments or anything like that. Oh, gosh. It's just, I hate this feeling. My toes are even feeling funky. Twinkly. Got twinkle toes because I guess I'm losing feeling down there. Okay, so again, I think a lot of people don't know what's happening over on Hidden True Crime. They had their chat severely moderated. It was moving at a snail's pace. This is them up on the internet here. They haven't removed it, or we're gonna watch it from here. but I also want to look at the comments, but I also have a recording of it so you guys can see that they had over 3,000 people in their chat, but it wasn't moving. Their chat wasn't moving. I think I need to move them out of the way. Hold on a second. I need to do some rearranging. Oops, hold on. Also, I guess I don't know if I need to say this or not, but because of the back pain, I'm going into a fiber flare. Been sneezing a lot and coughing, and that's a sign of a flare for me. And my biggest problem when I have a flare is I lose words. One of my biggest problems, besides the pain and running into walls and stuff like that. But so I am losing words. So it is, I'm reaching, it'll take me a minute to look for words in my brain. I know it's annoying, but imagine not being able to reach for common words and being the one that's happening to. All right, so over here, what an ugly world we live in. This is so horrible. I really believe that they don't know, a lot of the audience has no clue what's going on. And I'm going to show you some, I screenshotted some of the comments. I'm going to show you the comments that are leading me to that decision. But here we have 45,000 views. They have 2,000.4K likes and 276 comments. Let's see if they're heavily moderated. Good job, family. I have been begging for a plea for Nancy's safe return. They also had a former crime victim from another family that they worked with in the chat, and they made sure to platform them and let us know that they worked with them. And then they threw up the playlist of that family, that crime victim family, that said they were feeling very traumatized. At the end, they made sure to throw up the crime victims playlist that they have and plug that. So I don't like, it's all pretty moderated. Nothing's really getting through. Grayson is getting pretty adept at it. If not, they might have hired some other people to come in during their lives to do moderation. Because here we have, here's the one that I recorded. Let me get it forward.
Spunky.
All right.
And clever.
I got to get them out of there. Hold on a second. You got to go. You don't got to go home, Warren and John, but you got to get off my screen. Because I got to make this bigger so you can see what I'm doing here. Okay. So
she has grandchildren that adore her.
They started off at 476. Let me make sure you can see it. At 400 and I'm having a problem. Sorry, in the back end. I can't see my screen very well. Okay, 476. And then during the live, you can see that at the end, they had close to, it got up to 3,000. It was at 278, but you can see here the chat just really doesn't move. It barely moves.
No proof of life, and with a ransom note if this is legitimate.
And here they have 2,792, and it's just not moving.
And that she is okay, and that they have her.
So they are moderating, severely moderating their chat, severely moderating, and it just didn't move. And there were interesting comments that I caught here and there in the chat. Let me show you the interesting comments. We'll just go into the interesting. I was just kind of screenshotting as I went. This guy, is McSpunky, is that Joe Schmo? Because McSpunky came in and started donating hidden gem memberships, which I thought was so interesting because yesterday we went over the fact that they're not doing anything for their memberships over on YouTube, but they got quite a few hidden gem memberships donated, and they got quite a few donations at the end with for their channel, for their live. So I think with all the donations that they got yesterday, I think we're going to be seeing more lives, because I do think like Grayson feels a little more confident in things, and they're severely moderating, and and they still got money. So why wouldn't they, right? People were saying, thank you, HTC, for covering this case. Thank you for clearing up some confusing information. What did Ashley say? I screen recorded that because they were trashing Ashley Banfield, and they were popping these kind of comments up on the screen, which I thought was interesting because it shows that they're continuing their MO of backstabbing fellow content creators and showing that, Ashley is doing the reporting. They're probably pretty jealous because she's getting the scoops. They did dig and get the Arizona reported. They used their contact with Briana, because I went in and I did notice that they have done some work with Briana in the past, and we're gonna take a look at that. Don't worry. But so there was that, and then I screenshotted this because you saw here all these memberships were given, and only one person said thank you. So my thought on that was, and as slow as the chat was moving, I'm sure that like when you go into a chat and you say something, that immediately puts you up front that if a membership, I guess maybe you guys don't know this, but it puts you up front. If a membership is given away, it gives you a greater chance that if you chatted during that live, that you will be gifted the membership. Doesn't always work that way, but usually it will pull from the people that are in the chat at the time. So I'm thinking that a lot of these people were you and I, who are tired of hidden true crime and call them out. And I feel like maybe that was the case. I don't know. What do you guys think? I'm not saying it for a fact. Everything is for entertainment and educational purposes only. I could be reaching, but I got that sense. Over here, a bunch more hidden true crime memberships were gifted. Miss Spunky was doing more, and then Hidden True Crime gave out their 10 free memberships, but nobody was saying thank you to them. So I'm thinking that these memberships were given to people that were being silenced. If you were given a Hidden Gem membership, let me know. I'm curious. So then Grayson pops on and is quick to greet McSpunky, which I screenshotted that because I thought that was interesting, because I think it's Joe Schmo. Am I right? Does anyone else know? I think McSpunky is Joe Schmo, and there's that thing that was going on between Grayson and McSpunk and Joe Schmo. Anyway, so I screenshotted that. Then I grabbed this. Oh, so our crack shot producer, Grayson, I mean, you're going to hear it. It sounded like Lauren was extra drunk. Like, I don't know. Maybe Grayson is trying to set Lauren right back up. You know how everybody's saying that Lauren and John are gonna set Grayson up and pin this all on Grayson. Well, maybe Grayson is like just doing the same thing because it sounded like Lauren was she did a little extra pre-gaming. Yeah, he is Joe Schmo. I thought so. Oh, you don't think he is? Oh, okay. Well, um, McSpunky is a huge supporter because he not only he donated quite a few memberships and then he donated money as well. So Grayson was having some problems with the live per usual. But also, it's a lot of work having to silence everybody, so we got to cut her some slack. Um and then this final one, what did I do here? Why did I do this one? Oh yeah, they were talking about it. Is this tape slowed down? People were noticing that like what's wrong here. Um, and then this was the only negative thing that I saw come through. And I don't remember what was said, but she said, that's kind of in poor taste to discuss a replacement bracelet while this topic is on her missing mom. And then, yeah, Grayson fixed the speed of the live. So that's what I caught during the live. Good morning, just me. Oh, I didn't even stop to think about that, Kanisnana, that they paid people to come in and uh give them money. That makes sense though, because it seems very odd to me because it all came in at the end. It was like very like when he came in, and then at the very end, a lot of it came through. I mean, they pay people to protest. I heard this the other day. I was like, they're paying people to go out there and protest. When I was in college, I took classes to protest. So in essence, I paid people to protest. But anyway, that's a good point. That is a good point. Good morning, everyone coming in. Hi, Chris. Hi, Kim. So good to see you. Oh, you got a gift membership somewhere? I love when I get gift memberships. Okay. So now let's start and go into it. Dare we? No, actually, I want it that size so we can look at the chat. She came on they come on really quick. They don't even introduce themselves. It's just like she's talking midway. I don't know if she doesn't know you have to like wait a few seconds for it to connect, but she's always like already talking. So that's what happened.
Everyone.
Oh, wait, maybe I just didn't catch it because in my recording, I didn't get this part when she popped on it. But, also, YouTube will correct itself and fix itself in the beginning. And that's probably what happened. But anyway, because here, let me show you. I'm just not talking shit out of my ass. Because I can do that at times.
Tonight with her siblings, Annie, with both of her siblings by her side. And I think the other thing that's really important also.
So this is where I just started recording and I was sitting here waiting for it to start because I was getting the comments that were being said before the live started. So I was just sitting here waiting. Hey guys, next time when she goes live, would you be interested if I went live and live streamed their live? Because I used to do that with Gypsy Rose Blanchard and Ryan and all of them. And then because they would heavily censor their live. And so it would give us a place to have a discussion, even if they weren't, letting you talk in their live. We could be over in my live and they would still get an idea of what we're thinking and feeling. Would you be interested in that? I almost did it. I came very close to doing it, but then I didn't know if that's something that you guys, because I've noticed each case crew is different than, like, say, the Gypsy Rose crew or the Watts crew, or, the various cases that I cover. Yeah, okay, we'll do that. So if you guys see them live, and also I say this out loud and the other channels are going to do it too. That's what started happening with the Gypsy Rose stuff. But anyway, if you guys see them doing it and I don't catch it, just, email me or, pop it in the comments somewhere and I'll see it and I'll get a live together and I'll pop on right away wherever I am. All right, let's get into this.
Savannah and her family are aware of the alleged ransom note. Let's just take a
Wait,
listen right now.
I've got
Actually, I haven't
something
heard the
playing
full
somewhere.
video, and then let's process this and I'll tell you everything we know right now.
Hold on.
There is quite a lot coming down.
Oh. What's throwing me off is I don't usually have things that I pre-record up on the screen, and that's like really throwing me off. I keep trying to go into my tabs to stop it, and it's right there in my box. Okay. Let's look at our Lauren. Also, I know you're like, get into it already. I noticed some things during this live that I'm just going to have to say it as I remember it, because I was like paying attention to her neck. I don't know if you guys remember, I was talking about how I strongly believe she's had some neck work done. And this is why she's been wearing these type of shirts lately where she is like they're mock tops, or she's wearing scarves, or she's covering her neck like this. During the live, I noticed down here a lot of weirdness is happening in here. She's done something here, or she's needs to, and she's self-conscious about it.
Right, Savannah
She's got some stuff going on down here.
Guthrie and her siblings are speaking out. We just put out an interview sharing that we do know that Savannah and her family are aware of.
Also, you guys, what is this word? How can I phrase this without sounding like an asshole? How is her voice changed again? Her voice is different. Savannah? Is she like Norwegian all of a sudden? What is that?
We do know that Savannah and her family.
Savannah? Is it because Grayson has her slowed down or something? What happens if we speed her up? Because that's Savannah. Long Quan. Savannah. Did anyone watch this and notice how weird that was? Because, Savannah.
I'm the victim! Remember? I'm the victim!
Family are aware of the alleged ransom note. Let's just take a listen right now. I actually haven't even heard the whole video, and then let's process
And she looks like she's extra shocked. Like the eyebrows are going back up, guys. They're heading north again. Or yeah, north. They're heading north again, friends. Have you noticed the eyebrows are touching the sky again?
Let's not tell you everything we know right now. There is quite a lot coming down. Let's see.
Savannah?
On behalf of our family.
Oh, and then after these people said mommy, I wanted to puke every time she said it. She said it so many times. She is such a trauma vulture. Ugh.
We want to thank all of you for the
This is why I don't watch things in advance, because I want to tell you all about it before it happens, before we get to it.
prayers for our beloved mom, Nancy. We feel them, and we continue to believe that she feels them too. Our mom is a kind, faithful, loyal, fiercely loving woman of goodness and light. She's funny, spunky, and clever. She has grandchildren that adore her and crowd around her and cover her with kisses. She loves fun, an adventure. She is a devoted friend. She is full of kindness and knowledge. Talk to her and you'll see.
The light is missing from our lives.
Hey, guys, I haven't looked around the internet to see what people are saying, but the sister gives me weird vibes. I don't want to say it either. But she, I don't know. Everyone grieves weird, but she gives me like Savannah. That's everyone grieves differently. Savannah's sobbing, and the way she read this would just make me feel really weird. But maybe it's because I've heard that her sig other is a suspect. I don't know.
Nancy is our mother. We are her children.
Yes.
She is our beacon. She holds fast to joy in all of life's circumstances. She chooses joy day after day. Despite having already passed through great trials of pain and grief.
I saw somebody put like what each sibling does as a profession, and the sister is a poet and a jewelry designer. So I mean, I hate to say it, but my antenna went even up further when I heard that.
Always going to be merely human, just normal human people who need our mom. Mama, if you're listening, we need you to come home. We miss you.
Our mom is our heart and our home. She is 84 years old. Her health, her heart is fragile. She lives in constant pain. She is without any medicine. She needs it to survive. She needs it not to suffer. We too have heard the reports about a ransom letter in the media. As a family, we are doing everything that we can. We are ready to talk. However, we live in a world where voices and images are easily manipulated. We need to know, without a doubt, that she is alive and that you have her. We want to hear from you, and we are ready to listen. Please reach out to us. Mommy, if you are hearing this, you are a strong woman. You are God's precious daughter, Nancy. We believe and know.
You can see here the chat's not moving. They had probably about 1,000 people at this point in there. Carolina says that that's how you can tell when an individual is suffering from MBD, in my humble opinion, when they start talking in different accents. So you think she got a little touch of DID? A little DID going on in there. I watched an Epstein victim, and it was amazing to me because I swear I was watching her cycle through her personalities just to get through the interview. I don't really see that in Lauren, but that just made me think of that. I think Lauren has borderline, and you know, my background is in psych soc. That's what my degree is in. I am certainly not diagnosing her. This is all for entertainment and educational purposes only. But I would put her at borderline personality, like pretty severe.
That even in this valley, He is with you.
And borderlines have a lot of different personalities.
Everyone is looking for you, Mommy, everywhere. We will not rest.
I hope they
Your
find her
children
alive.
will not rest. until we are together again. We speak to you every moment, and we pray without ceasing, and we rejoice in advance for the day that we
Were any of you in this chat? Because I can't imagine, like, there's probably, does it tell us? Does it tell us who was actually there to chat? You know, like, I didn't even see these people. Like, you can tell, like, even the top chatters barely said shit in an hour live with over 3,000 people. It's crazy. But I think that they are just playing the long game and think that, you know, they're up for it. They seem to be up for it.
hold you in our arms again. We love you, Mom.
Love you, Mom.
We love you, Mom. Stay strong.
We love you, Mom. We love
Gosh, that was hard to watch. That was Savannah Guthrie, host of the Today Show, with her siblings. Cameron is the oldest in the family, and then there's Annie, and then there is Savannah, the baby of the family. A few things that I noted.
Yeah, she's talking really weird here. Her accent has completely changed. That's the word I'm looking for, accent. Her accent has completely changed.
That first off, they're looking for proof of life. They want to know if she is absolutely alive. We did an interview earlier today here at Hidden True Crime with Briana Whitney, and reporter with boots on the ground there in Tucson. And
boots on the ground, and it sounded so weird when she said it. Let me slow this down and let you hear exactly what that word sounded like, because boots on the ground sounded really weird to me too.
She did state that Savannah Guthrie did have this alleged ransom note that her station in Tucson also received.
And it's not letting me back it up.
Guthrie, host of the Today Show, with her siblings. Cameron is the oldest in the family, and then there's Amy.
If you are hearing this,
Guthrie, host of the. They want to know if she is absolutely alive. We did an interview earlier today here at Hidden True Crime with Briana Whitney, and reporter with boots on the ground there in Tucson.
Boots on the ground.
And she did state that Savannah Guthrie did
Maybe
have.
It was in this interview that it sounded funny.
The FBI deemed it at least substantial enough to put that in front of Savannah Guthrie to let her know what was going on and what they were looking at. At this hour.
Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's go back. We're going to look at her in just a minute. That woman.
This alleged.
She made sure to, during this live, play almost the entire interview of this woman. Because over here, there's only this interview that she did yesterday only got 13,000 views. So she made sure to throw that into this live.
Note that her station in Tucson also received, as well as TMZ. And the one concern has been that they have not seen proof of life. And you heard Savannah there stating very specifically, we are ready to talk. We are ready to listen, but we live in an age where images and voices are easily manipulated. She's clearly referring to AI, artificial intelligence, and that they need, without a doubt, proof that she is alive and that you have her. Very specific request.
I really hope she's not involved too. And I did notice that Savannah and her sister were holding hands. So I think they're, you know, I really hope she's not involved.
They're putting out there broke my heart when she stated, "Everyone is looking for you, mommy. Everyone." Just hear that word, mommy. Savannah also explains,
I mean, that looked really fake to me too. I know I don't like the woman, and so everything she does I could pick apart, but what the F was that?
Everyone. Just hear that word, mommy.
Like, where's the tears there, friend? What was that about? And she goes on to say this mommy word repeatedly, which makes me very uncomfortable.
Savannah also explains, which we have also heard, that she does not have medication that she needs. We learned a little bit more. This is something we haven't really understood. What's the medication that she needs daily? We do know that Nancy has high blood pressure.
I have a suspicion that Lauren, if this is going to go to trial, that Lauren will have her self in Arizona. I'm trying to be nice.
There are cardiac concerns, a pacemaker, and that she has mobility issues. But we learned a little bit that she is in pain every day, and that not only does she need the meds to survive, specifically, Savannah just said to not suffer because she is in pain every day. They want her to have her medication just simply.
She's got her whiny voice on, though. Like when she's really trying to show people that she really cares. She's in pain every day. And she calls it mommy. She says, mommy, mommy, mommy. She says it far too many times.
She will not suffer. That broke my heart to hear that it's not just about keeping their mother alive and healthy. It's about keeping her out of pain and out of suffering. We also
she likes to put a lot of pauses and deep inflections between her very important words.
So I want to point out that Savannah Guthrie stated that she has been through a lot of grief and pain and has walked this grief. I believe that actually even Annie mentioned that. And we have learned that one thing that their mother has been through and that the entire Guthrie family went through early in Savannah's life, she was 16 years old, was the death of Savannah's father. And Savannah was only 16. Her mother, Nancy, was in her 40s, 46 years old. And her father was 49 years old when he had a sudden heart attack and died at work. And their mother, Nancy Guthrie, who is missing, never remarried. This is according to all sources, a close-knit family with partners and spouses and grandchildren. And they are saying that they all want Nancy Guthrie home. And the one thing that they are stating unequivocally is, we want her home. We need to know proof of life. We're ready to listen. We are ready to talk. We need proof of life. And we need to know that you have her. And without a doubt proof, because we live in the world of AI, show us somehow to these kidnappers that she is alive and that you have her and they are willing to talk. We put out a report a couple of hours ago, an interview with Briana Whitney, a reporter in Tucson with True Crime Arizona, and she shared a lot. She is in touch with the sheriff's office and she is in touch with the FBI directly. And she had a lot to say. So why don't we actually watch that right now? Because I think it goes along with what Savannah Guthrie is actually stating right now with her siblings on either side of her, Cameron.
I think a lot of the reason that she talks the way that she's talking here is because when you get comments and that you're moderating, you see them, and I think they jar her. They make her very, very uncomfortable. And so she's trying not to look at them, but I mean, Lauren, she can't like shut the world out. I mean, she couldn't let a few TikToks go without acting like, she had a stalker and do a 9.5-hour live. So I think these comments rattle her. Thank you so much, Shell Bean, for your super sticker. Thank you for keeping this woman's nonsense in the light when everyone else is backing off. I appreciate you. You're welcome. I am a little disappointed that people aren't covering it as much, but maybe, maybe more stuff will come out. I just think it's important for people to understand that I don't like the way that she treated the victims and of the crime families, and I worry for future victims. So I just want it to be known out there that she is a dangerous reporter, in my opinion. So, and if people are ready to move on, I get that too. I get it. Things get on my nerves, and I'm ready to move on too. Thank you, True Crime XIO, for becoming a Dragonfly. The Dragonfly is our membership program that we have over on YouTube. Today we're coming to you on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. But here, let me show you a little something about our Dragonfly program.
And if you're not subscribed,
Maybe.
And if
Maybe
you're
not.
not subscribed, why are you not subscribed? I would really, really, really love to have you as a power subscriber. If you really like my content, be sure to become a dragonfly, and that's our membership, and it's $2.99 a month. I release all my videos early. We have special emojis over in the chat room. I kind of share things ahead of time with my dragonflies, and I go live sometimes just for the dragonflies. It's a way that I can support you guys and give you more content, and it's a way for you to support our channel. It's $2.99 a month, and I would love to have you.
There is the link, and I will put it over in the show notes. It's in chat. And I've been working on this new series with my dragonflies called Building the Case. So as I'm getting my cases together, I hang out with you. I've got 3 of them, I think, over there, and I was building the Hidden True Crime. I do Florida Woman Friday. I built one of those cases. I might have done a Highly Strange Days, but anyway, if you're interested in more HTC content that you probably haven't seen, there is where I'm building up a case and doing research on it. So yes, thank you and welcome, True Crime XIO.
And Annie, that they have known about this ransom note for quite some time now, for days, even before TMZ reported it. We learned today through Briana. But the concern has been and has always been that they have not seen proof of life. And clearly, these 3 siblings speaking out.
She really jumped onto the fact that Savannah was asking for proof of life. She nailed that home. She really nailed that home, and she nailed the mommy part home.
For their mother to come home. They're stating that. That's what they need. Let's take a listen to Briana Whitney, and then I want to talk about everything else that we've learned is happening tonight. A lot of action, actually, so stick with me. Let's listen to Briana really quickly here. With True Crime Arizona reporter Briana Whitney. A boots on the ground reporter in Tucson. You're in Phoenix now, but you were in Tucson. Is that...
You don't think that boots on the ground sounds funny? I think it sounds really funny, and I've got it.
Briana Whitney. A boots on the ground
Boots
reporter
on the ground
in Tucson. You're in Phoenix now, but you were in Tucson. Is that right, Briana?
Yep. Yeah, I was out in Tucson in front of the crime scene at Nancy Guthrie's home, doing all of our investigative reporting from Tucson yesterday as the updates
So
came.
this Briana Whitney fascinated me. What do you guys think about her? Have you watched her? It's very interesting to me that she is working with Lauren. She must know what's happening, what's going on. I did pop over to some of Brittany's socials. Stop it. Stop what, Junie? He's so bossy sometimes. I popped over to some of her socials to see who she was. True Crime Arizona Live, True Crime Arizona. She's got a 17K follower over there. Sorry, I didn't mean to say all the time. So I'll say instead. But over on her Instagram, she has 14K followers. So she's like not a small news reporter, but not huge either. Maybe she thinks that Lauren can help grow her channel. I went over to her when I was over on her YouTube channel. I went to see who she was reporting on, and here she has late night updates in the Nancy Guthrie investigation, and this was a day ago, and I thought it was interesting. I went down, hold on. I went down into her comments, and there's only 4 comments. So I suspect there's some moderation going on here, because really only 4 comments and 2.7K views. And only 48 likes. So I suspect the internet is doing their thing and letting them know that they're not pleased that she's working with Lauren Turd, right? Nobody wants to see that. I went into more
what's
of the videos, and it's a lot of the same. Yeah. So I don't know if she is being scrutinized at all, but I mean, I don't understand why we would scrutinize this person, Susan Hendricks, and not take a look at this person, right? Because it seems highly sus that they would work with Lauren. And I went in to see if they've ever been on Lauren and John's channel, and they have 9 months ago. So we're going to take a look at that interview, but let's get back to this. Wait, which one were we watching?
Through quite literally unfolded the whole day. Back in Phoenix today, still reporting and working on the story. Back in Tucson tomorrow, all day. So much so that we'll be in there in the morning for the press conference, all the way through the night.
She's doing what she does best. She is using a smaller creator. We've seen her doing this with Megan. She does it with Trisha. So yeah, that's what she's doing.
Streaming show.
Okay. Thank you for covering this like you have been. And thank you for giving us a few minutes of your time, as busy as you are. You were even at Nancy Guthrie's home in the Catalina foothills. Is that right?
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, of course she's jealous of her. Look at her. She's young, and that's exactly what Lauren wants to be, young. She's beautiful, exactly what Lauren wants to be. She's accomplished. She's made it somewhat on this Arizona news market. Yeah, but she's not above or below using somebody, even if she's super jealous of them. I mean, especially if she's jealous of them, she wants to use them. Like, yes, I will use them. Remember her text that she had? Which friend was it? Which big news reporter was she trying to get in good with? I think it was the reporter that was working on the Murdaugh case. You know, she didn't like her, but she wanted to get in with her. And then when she couldn't get in with her, she was going to go on to somebody else. Or was it vice versa? She was trying to get in with Annie Elise and couldn't get in with Annie Elise, was moving on. It was one of the two.
I think the thing that I'm most curious about right now is, of course, there's a lot of speculation, a lot of rumors going on about a prime suspect, about a possible suspect, about a family member being involved, and you are in touch with the sheriff. Is that correct? Can you tell us what you've learned?
Yeah, the sheriff's department. So I heard and saw the same reporting that went out very late last night. So it would have been late Tuesday night. And I sent an email immediately to the sheriff's department and the FBI, since we know the FBI is involved and they are conducting interviews. They are just as part of this as the sheriff's department at this point when we're looking for information. So I emailed them
she got an interview, and that's why Lauren and John interviewed them. They interviewed her on her interview with Lori, because you know that they're obsessed with Lori.
Must have been 12:30 in the morning, trying to seek some clarity on this. And I think it's hard because as journalists and as news stations, oftentimes we have sources. Oftentimes we have law enforcement sources. This is a really touchy investigation based on what is out there, what should or shouldn't be out there, and not wanting to compromise the investigation wherever that may be. There's a lot we're not privy to. The sheriff's department got back to me very early this morning and said, we do not have any persons of interest. We do not have an identified suspect. Then they doubled down in their communication with me about it again, just bolstering that even 2 hours later. And then they went to social media. I'm assuming they've been getting bombarded with messages.
I don't like her either. And I feel like birds of a feather flock together. And so I'm really sus of this woman. I'm really sus of her to continue her affiliation with this woman. So
about this morning saying, look, not only do we not have an identified person of interest, an identified suspect, a prime suspect at that, but these kinds of unsubstantiated reports are really detrimental to the investigation and at this point would be irresponsible to put out there. So that's the latest that we have, at least confirmed by law enforcement officials. They are aware of what kind of reporting is out there. They are aware that it's about, suspicion of a family member, but at this point, there is no concrete evidence to suggest that that is true.
Okay, and let's be clear, a person of interest happens before a suspect. And so if there's no person of interest, there's definitely not a prime suspect.
Absolutely.
What about this car being impounded? Let's say that's the Savannah Guthrie's sister's partner. What are we
Well,
learning
that's
about his
because,
car?
and this
Because
is
that's
just my personal opinion, ICE wants to actually kill the people that they are detaining, and they're actually trying to find Savannah Guthrie's mother.
also being shared prominently online, whether it's been impounded, it's not been impounded, whether it's been seized.
Yeah, and I've seen the same reports, same thing. So when I emailed the sheriff's department last night, I wasn't just asking about if they had a suspect. I also was asking a slew of different questions about what they have seized, what they've potentially towed or not towed, what evidence they have. And the same email that I got back was there was no concrete confirmation of that one way or another either. I know that that's being circulated too. We are actively asking those questions, but without that confirmation, that's not something that we're moving forward with at this time. Of course, we're hoping to learn more. And I think part of this problem with this kind of information being spread so quickly, there's so much interest in this, for obvious reasons, understandable reasons, and so much concern that people want information immediately. And there hasn't been a lot.
I mean, some people don't mind getting into bed with the devil. In fact, they prefer it. So, I mean, there is those type of people too. Birds of a feathers do flock together. I mean, Lauren Turd and Dr. Yawn and Gray Bay are not the only questionable people out there in the world. So of course they would come together, and I'm not saying she is. I don't know anything about her. I don't know if she knows about these people. I don't know what she knows, but I think it's very strange. I find it very odd that she doesn't know, because I'm sure she's in the loop, and I've been in work politics, and I'm feeling like, even being in the small arena of the YouTube area that I'm in, I know people that I would have never thought I could possibly have known, right? So I really believe that she knows what's up. And so my eye is crooked to the north sky at her.
Haven't seen any surveillance footage. That's been a huge issue. The sheriff's department has remained pretty tight-lipped about this. You know, it took leaking of an alleged ransom note for the sheriff's department to then address that situation in and of itself. So I think people are desperate for any little piece of information and are latching on to what they can. And I get that. The sheriff is not making himself available today at all for interviews. So our next opportunity to ask him these questions in person is tomorrow morning. That's Thursday at 11 a.m. when he has his press conference. And that's not a guarantee that there's going to be new information, that he's going to confirm anything, that there's going to be any breaking news. It's just a scheduled press conference.
She does need to be careful, but now I'm in my phase where you get what you get, right? Somebody left a comment on this morning about Sarah Boone and how, you know, we shouldn't be rejoicing that this woman is in a cage for the rest of her life, and we should be more, where is humanity? We should be more humane. And I agree, the world does need to find its humanity, but where was the humanity when she beat George with a bat in a suitcase and let him suffocate, and then continues to act the way she did? Where is Lauren's humanity when she tried to put a tether around a mother of four who's an artist and who just didn't agree with what she had to say? Where's the humanity in holding Lauren and these type of people accountable? Where's that humanity? Humanity goes both ways. And I'm tired of being the bleeding liberal for one side and not holding the other side accountable. I'm sorry, both sides suck. I guess I just slipped into politics, but you know what I mean? Like it's just getting to the point where I don't think you can coddle anybody anymore. Everybody has to be accountable for themselves. And if you fucked up in the past, say you fucked up, course correct, and move forward. And the way that you prove that you're sorry for it, you don't do it ever again. You don't say, you don't get the privilege of, Lauren likes to jump from, she doesn't even say she's sorry. Just like, oh, I'm over it. I'm past it. I was in severe, extreme danger just months ago from this woman, but we've moved on. We've moved on. Tra-la-la. Well, no, I haven't moved on. I'm not a mover on her. I think I got a touch of the tism, to be honest with you, because I don't move on fast. I'm still right in the same spot trying to figure out it. And then now I'm in this warning phase. Like, I don't know. I'm getting mad. Sorry, Junie. I'm not mad. I'm just passionate.
Conference for him to address the media. So I think as far as more information goes, unless it's breaking news today, Nancy has been found or anything like that. If it's something like that, the sheriff will come out and talk to us again and hold another press conference. If it's not that, it doesn't seem like we'll get in front of him face to face, anybody, until tomorrow morning.
Okay, that is really helpful. And going back to the car being seized, they did not confirm it, but they did not deny it. So they're not
right. There was no, they didn't address that at all. They basically just said, we have evidence. We are working on evidence. We've sent things to the DNA lab. Kind of the same thing that they reiterated before. So no confirmation, no denial, but definitely not providing any sort of yes or no to me.
But the clarity that we did receive, the absolute confirmation is no suspect, no prime suspect, no person of interest even at this time. That is confirmed.
That's confirmed by the sheriff's department. And whether or not behind the scenes they have an idea or they have a hunch or they're...
So this was the part where she was sure to make sure, and they started talking about Ashley Banfield in the chat and how, Ashley had reported that they were looking at the brother-in-law and that a car had possibly been seized. And our crack reporter here, who always gets it right, who clears up all misinformation, is making sure we know this.
Tracking down a lead as far as the public side of the investigation. There is clearly nobody they're charging right now, because if they were, then they would name it, then we would see that. So yes, there is no person of interest or identified person of interest, no identified.
You know what I really want to do with you guys? I'm always getting good ideas from Jay. I saw that she was over on Kick watching some documentaries with you guys, and I did some research because I was like, how does she do that? Because here, if I watch documentaries with you, I would get my channel removed. But I guess Kick is more loosey-goosey over there, and you can watch it and then not leave it up. And then you can come back over to YouTube and then have a discussion. So I'm going to go through some docuseries, some good crime docuseries, and pick a few that we can watch together. I've got some plans going on. I guess laying in bed with a hurt back does that to you. Makes you slow down and think.
Suspect at this time, according to the sheriff's department.
I know you have a busy day. You're doing great work out there. We're really relying on you, Briana. One last question. This ransom letter, which now multiple media outlets have said they have received one. Anything you can share about that? We reported on it here at Hidden True Crime. We shared it was substantiated. Anything you can share as far as confirming this anymore or what you've heard?
Yes. Yeah. So I have some information on that I can share. But we also are being very, very careful with how and what we share. So our sister station, KOLD down in Tucson, is the news media station that received this alleged ransom note.
Okay.
They turned it over to the sheriff's department. And from there, and that's why they didn't report on it, because the sheriff's department asked them not to. It wasn't until TMZ received an alleged ransom note and went forward with it that then the sheriff's department had to address what had happened with the local news station. The sheriff's department confirmed to CBS News, and we are with CBS News, that is our network, yesterday, that they forwarded that to the FBI. The FBI deemed it at least substantial enough to put that in front of Savannah Guthrie, to let her know what was going on and what they were looking at. At this hour, they are still taking this alleged ransom note seriously. We have not gotten any confirmation of whether...
No, I feel totally duped. I mean, I literally, in college, we went to Howard University, and with Julie, we took a class on grassroots protest and with Gloria Steinem, and I paid to learn how to do that kind of stuff, and then I went out there and did it. If I knew I could get paid, maybe my life would be completely different. I don't know.
It's legit or not. That has not been confirmed, but it is being investigated.
One summer I went to DC. We actually went to the East Coast, and we traveled around the entire East Coast. I went to a refugee center, and we stayed there for like 2 or 3 weeks, and we worked with some refugees. They had some refugees from Haiti, and then they had some from the Ukraine, and it was so interesting. And we were told like the Haitian people had floated over on a raft for days and days and days. And they were sending those people back, and it was basically because of the color of their skin. This was the 90s. I'm just saying what went down. And then we went to DC, and we marched on DC and Take Back the Night, and then we stayed at some alumni houses. It was like the best summer of my life. It was so good. I was like 20. How old was I? I was 21 years old. I thought life was so rough and tough, and like, oh, college was such a, like I had no idea. Some of the best days of my life.
Sheriff's Department has confirmed that. We know from what we can report that the ransom note that went to our sister station had a certain money number that they were demanding, a time frame or a deadline that they wanted it in, and details that reportedly only the abductor would know. That's what we know was in there. that we are able to publicly report. So obviously concerning, but ransom notes are really difficult. You have a lot to trace back to. Where did this come from? What is the demand? What is the likelihood that this is legit or not? That can be hard to do with a ransom note, depending on how it came in and what that looks like. On top of that, it is now Wednesday. And as far as I know, there's definitely been no public confirmation of any point that there is proof of life of Nancy Guthrie. Typically, when there is a rare ransom note request, you typically are demanding something in return for what you took. And right now, we have any indication that there is proof of life of Nancy, that she is somewhere, that somebody has her, that's related to this note specifically. So there's a lot of investigating that still needs to go on with these alleged ransom notes that went out to a couple media outlets, but the Sheriff's Department's actively doing that.
These ransom notes are very interesting and confusing to me. What do you make of them? Do you think it's just the world worlding and being weird and doing strange things, or do you hold any credence to any of it?
Hopefully tomorrow we will learn a little bit more about whether they believe they are legit or not.
Thank you. Well, we'll be following you. Where can we find your reporting as you continue to cover this daily?
Yeah. So I'm on Instagram at Briana Whitney. I'm on YouTube at Briana Whitney TV. I'm on Twitter or X at Briana Whitney, and Facebook as well. Any of those social platforms I'm constantly posting. Also on TikTok at Briana Whitney TV, trying to get out there as much as possible from all angles, to investigative, also who Nancy was. I think that's kind of the big next step for reporting. We may not get a lot of new investigative details today, but there is a vigil being held for her this evening in Tucson. And I hope that we'll get to learn more from the community who is very concerned about.
I think Grayson got it back to regular speed, so this is too fast. Let me slow this down a little bit.
Their loved one too. It's not just the Guthrie family, but it's really the whole community of Tucson, which is a relatively small city, and she's been a pillar in this community for a long time. So hopefully we'll be able to get that more personal side of the story today, and then tomorrow hopefully learn a lot more about the investigation itself.
Thank you so much, Briana. We'll be following along. Thank you for all you're doing. We appreciate this time.
Thanks, Lauren. I appreciate it.
So to see that full episode with Briana, because we actually do a full recap of everything that we know so far, you can find that in the description of this episode, as well as pinned comments, and right there on the screen. There's a lot more to that episode that we posted a few hours ago. And thank you to Briana Whitney for coming on Hidden True Crime today. We always appreciate it when she shares what she knows, and she is down there in full force, just working.
I do get the sense that the police know more than they're telling us, and I feel like maybe the family might know something. But I don't know. Today's Thursday. I thought yesterday was Tuesday. So I was making a big deal out of the fact that we weren't going to hear from him till Thursday, not thinking that tomorrow was Thursday. But so aren't we supposed to hear more from the police today?
So hard. I think the most important thing that we learned there when it comes to what Savannah is stating with each sibling by her side is that we learned from Briana that the police deemed this alleged ransom note significant enough that they placed it in front of Savannah Guthrie, and that she knew about it before TMZ also received it, that this local station that Briana is with had also received it earlier, and they were requested not to report on it, and then only decided to once TMZ released theirs. So we know, though, that the issue, again from Briana, is that there's no proof of life, and with a ransom note, if this is legitimate, you need to know that Nancy is alive and that she is okay and that they have her, which is exactly what Savannah Guthrie is asking tonight with her siblings.
I mean, what a miracle it would be if she's alive.
Annie, with both of her siblings by her side. And I think the other thing that's really important to also point out, because there's been a lot of speculation, law enforcement is adamant that at this time, there is no...
Hold on. I've got something else playing. Sorry, guys.
Suspect, and not only no suspect, but no person of interest at this time. Could that change at any moment? Yeah, but the person of interest happens before the suspect, and police are saying absolutely not. We, of course, have a press conference tomorrow. Excuse me. And we have some more information. So again, I recommend everyone heading to our earlier episode, but let's talk about what's happening tonight, because more is happening tonight, because police, law enforcement have actually tonight, after handing the house back over to the Guthries, which it was a crime scene, right? Nancy Guthrie's home was a crime scene on Monday. They handed this house back, but again, then tonight said, no, it is again a crime scene. And tonight, law enforcement returned to Nancy Guthrie's home.
I don't understand.
Wednesday evening, this live is Wednesday.
I don't understand why they even released it so fast to begin with. I know this law enforcement agency Well, I guess it's good that the FBI has come in. So, because wow, weird.
Thursday night, they reestablished it as a crime scene. So they put the yellow crime scene tape back up around the property. It was kind of a surprising move. Multiple agencies were
I'm
present.
really praying
This included
hard
the
for
Boone
it.
County
I
Sheriff's.
mean, it happens. It happens. Elizabeth Smart came home, right? So it happens. Let's just pray that it happens.
Department, the FBI, who confirmed to be assisting again, Border Patrol agents were there, K-9 units. There was a significant police presence. And from boots on the ground word, we hear 12 sheriff deputies on scene. And the K-9 were actively searching the property. Investigators were searching multiple areas, including inside the house, the garage, a wooded area adjacent to the property. There was a grid search. And it seemed to be, people observed what looked like an investigation of evidence because investigators were wearing latex gloves and they were doing extensive photography inside Nancy Guthrie's home.
Just the weird way she's talking. Extensive. It's like she's Norwegian or something.
And multiple boxes were removed from the residence. And then, according to News Nation reporter Brian Enton, the house, he's there. The house had been quiet for 2 days, right, before the sudden return that no one was expecting. The crime scene tape went up. It was around 6:36 p.m. Eastern time. That would be 4:36 p.m. Arizona time when the crime scene tape went back up around Nancy Guthrie's home tonight. And the Pima County Sheriff Office, though, again, they had previously stated that the home was returned to the family Monday, but they also stated that they would return if new information justified it. And it seems that that happened tonight. They did send out an ex post. Let's take a look at the ex post about tonight. They claimed that they were just conducting follow-up. And so,
do you think that she tried to get Brian on her show? And I was curious. When that thought popped in my mind, I went over to Hidden True Crime to see if Brian had ever been on the show, and he has. So, do you think she tried to get Brian? And then I saw this outfit.
Let's start with Lori.
I saw this outfit. Where is it? It's not as bad as the one. Well, I almost said it's not as bad as the yellow Big Bird outfit, but I don't know. This is pretty horrendous.
So here it is. Here's the tweet. Detectives are conducting follow-up at the Guthrie home in a neighborhood. In the
I don't
neighborhood,
know.
parking is extremely limited. If traffic continues to be affected due to media, the roadway need to be restricted, and you will no longer have a good vantage point. So a little threat there to the media: stay back. And they have a new media staging map because, as the sheriff said in a press conference yesterday, they're driving them crazy. But I understand. You know, a mother and grandmother is missing. It has rocked the world. Really, it's rocked me. There
it is. Me. Me.
I'm the victim! Remember? I'm the victim!
Oh, the struggle is real, can't you see? This existential crisis is killing me. One hand up dramatic, eyes roll to the sky. Life's just too hard, I might just cry. Who gave me this?
She is the victim.
I've never seen a crime quite like this, and it's startling to say the least. That's like the softest word I can think about. And it is just heartbreaking to see Savannah today with her two siblings, again, begging for her mommy and telling her mother, "Mommy, everyone is looking for you. We truly are. We truly are." The police did say, though, I want to point out that they would return if there was new information, authorities confirming new investigative leads. Law enforcement, though, we have learned from sources, they remained on scene less than 2 hours, which was interesting, right? With everything going on and everything they were searching, from the property to the garage to the house and photography and latex gloves, they remained on scene less than 2 hours. And then they removed the tape and they left. The next press conference, as Briana has told us, that is expected tomorrow, Thursday, February 5th. Items, again, were removed from that house. But interestingly enough, Annie Guthrie, who lives 10 minutes away in a house with her longtime partner, nearly 20 years, Tommaso, items were removed from her home as well tonight. And then additional officers were seen at the back of her residence. Annie Guthrie was seen leaving her home with investigators carrying a large tote bag. One officer was seen carrying something believed to be a Cellbrite device. And for those that don't know Cellbrite, that's important. It's used to access data from cell phones and devices, specifically cell towers. So Cellbrite is used in every case that I've covered in trial. You know, the FBI comes in and they get this CAS data system and the Cellbrite, and it does extract cell data, but you can also go further and you can test the tower. So, you know, for example, if you have a neighbor and their phone is pinging on the tower, phone pings. Their phone is pinging at the tower, then you can say, okay, well, that makes sense because the neighbor is supposed to be there and the neighbor lives there. But if you see an odd phone pinging at a tower, you know, why are they there and when a nearby tower? So it's interesting that officers are carrying what people believe to be Cellbrite devices used to access data from cell phones and devices that was in the house. And let me be clear, I'm not talking about them testing towers with that. That's also used to just extract data from devices, all devices. And that's what it looked like they were carrying. Other equipment was brought inside the house, of Annie Guthrie's home. But again, I want to reiterate because law enforcement have made it very clear. And they say that not making this very clear is going to affect the investigation. So I'm going to make this very...
This is when all of this started happening. Sorry, I just sneezed a few times. McSpunky donated, he became a hidden gem, and then she donated 10 hidden gems.
Very clear. Law enforcement had stated repeatedly today that no suspect or person of interest has been officially named. Could that change at any time? Yeah. But police are stating, the sheriff's office is stating, law enforcement is stating that saying otherwise could impede this investigation. And one great example of that is, they're asking for tips. They're saying tips are critical to this case. And you don't want anyone thinking that this is solved or that they have a lead and someone doesn't share a tip that they have, right? Yeah. So I also want to point out too that returning with canines and forensic tools today to Nancy Guthrie's home is definitely indicating that investigators are looking for something specific. I'm speculating there, but it seems like
you're
a new
speculating.
lead.
Imagine that.
But they did send an ex post that said this was simply a follow-up. They are just conducting a follow-up to what we don't know. Sources have told ABC that the FBI has reportedly sent additional experts to aid in the investigation, and the supervisor will operate a task force with experts in areas such as hostage negotiation, data storage systems, networks, and secure digital devices. And again, at the beginning of this live, we watched a heartbreaking video of Savannah Guthrie and her siblings. And in this video statement, they addressed essentially their mother's disappearance. They discussed the alleged ransom note, ransom email, whatever we call it. They stated what they need right now is proof that Nancy is alive and that these people have her. Savannah Guthrie explained, we live in a time where audio, where images can be manipulated. She didn't mention AI, but I think that's simply what she's referring to. And they need, without a doubt, proof that Nancy is alive and that they have her. And if they do, she stated, we are ready to talk. We are ready to listen. Despite the rumors that have been swirling today and last night, as far as I can tell, the family appears unified. They appear desperate for answers. We can only speculate what they're feeling. It was heartbreaking to see a show host that we all know so well.
This was the part where I started noticing her neck and started wondering, really thinking like she had done something to it. Because you can see, let me see. There, you can either she had a spray tan that is looking kind of funky here, or she could have had some threads done because I see the lines, or it could be that she needs something done. But I think she's been hiding her neck from us. I'm into skincare. I have a show called Skincare and Suspects where we talk about skincare and true crime. I am 55 years old and do a lot to my own face, so it fascinates me what she's doing. So anyway, that's where I got the idea, where I feel like she's doing something.
Anchor of the Today Show, clearly grieving, clearly in a very emotional state. She was supposed to be taking off to host the Olympics, which she's no longer doing because they're trying, as she states, to bring her mommy home. So heartbreaking. There are a couple more things I wanted to show, and I would like to watch that video one more time. But what about, so I do want to, it is interesting that
Sue, slipping back into that weird accent, Sue.
Law enforcement was at Annie Guthrie's home. And let me explain that what we've heard, that Annie Guthrie and her longtime partner purchased a house about 10 minutes away from where Nancy Guthrie lives, and they are her main caretakers in town, and that they were with her the night before her disappearance, Saturday night. They're allegedly playing games, and that she was dropped off, and then family was called Sunday when Nancy, a churchgoer who clearly never misses church, didn't show up for church service on Sunday around 11 a.m. Family looked for her for an hour before deciding to call law enforcement, and that's where this investigation started. Brian Enton, News Nation reporter Brian Enton, is on scene, and he was at Annie Guthrie's house earlier, again, about 10 minutes away. Do we have that footage that we're looking for that? We'll pull that up.
Husband. And this is about 10 minutes away from Nancy's house. So it's pretty close. It's actually a very similar neighborhood in terms of just the houses are kind of spaced out. They're a little bit closer together here, but it's desert out here. It's out on the fringe of Tucson. You can see there's a lot of media out here outside Annie's house who are all just waiting to see if she comes back. You know, what's happening. The FBI was out here yesterday. I have that confirmed. And they were talking.
It's actually not as many as I would have thought. I mean, remember how many were outside of oh gosh, it was right. I just popped. It was in my head. The Laundries, Brian Laundrie's family. Remember how many people were out front in that Florida home? I just remember seeing a whole row of them, but maybe it's because it was smaller. The home was smaller, but I mean, it just doesn't look like there's a lot of them.
To Annie and her husband. So the media is just out here waiting to see if anything develops here outside the house. But yeah, it's a single story kind of ranch style. You can see like everything else around here. There's a ton of cactus out in the yard.
I like the orange couch. I like I like that burnt orange, but the pillows, no. It makes it look 80s, like 80s, 90s or something. But maybe everything 80s, 90s is back in style. Well, everything 80s is back in style.
And we don't believe anyone is home right now. So it's pretty quiet out here now. And again, this is just media out here. The neighbors have been coming out and asking sort of for updates and what's going on. Kind of give you an idea of what the neighborhood is like here. Again, houses are spread out. Kind of a lot of land and space in between the houses. After I left, there was also some action there, which one of my colleagues got some video of. There, Savannah's sister Annie, and who we believe is her brother, came home to the house.
I believe so. We went over it, and I do believe that part of her Grayson's salary is that she gets to live in the apartment, and the extra bedroom is the studio. Yeah, I think so.
So obviously, just a terrible situation for the entire family. There have been some reports that Savannah is staying with her sister there. We don't know that for sure, but we do know that Savannah is still in the area here, in the Tucson area. That's according to the sheriff. What's also interesting is with these ransom notes. So there were two ransom notes. One went to...
You can find that full video over on Brian Enton Investigates, his YouTube channel. You know, and then I want to point out that one thing that has been going on is this case is moving so fast, faster than an investigation can go. A police investigation can even go.
I like the yellow that's very popular. It's like that, like, you know, it's got a tint of brown in the yellow. I like that kind of yellow too. The yellow couches and chairs and stuff that are coming out.
Faster than police can confirm.
And the green too, this color green. I've been seeing a lot of furniture in that color. I like that color too.
things for us, faster than DNA can be tested, faster than, we want answers and we're curious. And
I'm happy colors are coming back, because like the dull brown life was getting really dull and brown. So I'm really glad that color is finally making a comeback in our world.
Today's episode for Hidden True Crime, I think I found myself a little bit confused as to what was confirmed, what was verified, what was rumor, what was some evidence, but not completely accurate. Who has said what? And I've done an entire episode, and we covered the ransom letter. We cover whether or not there are suspects or persons of interest. We cover a lot over on today's episode. And so I do recommend everyone heading over there.
Talks like that
and
around
watching.
Lauren strikes me as somebody who will take on the accent of whoever she's hanging around with. So we've got to find her new bestie that talks like this. I don't think Grayson does. I don't think so, but I guess I'll have to listen to Grayson a little more. But who talks like this? Because this is different. This is new. And it's interesting. And it's funny.
That, and it also starts with Briana Whitney's interview. But I did want to go live when I saw that Savannah Guthrie was speaking out with her siblings, looking united. From what we can tell, they all want to bring their mother home. We had to go
live.
My
couch is like this cobalt blue. I really like the color of my couch, but I do like those like muted earth tone colors that are like this orange, yellow, the greens. And so, yeah, but I really like the color of my couch. It's like this bright cobalt blue, but it's velvet. So it has different colors in it.
Because that's what's most important, is it's so clear that the Guthrie family wants this video seen. They want this out. They want to bring their mother home. They are worried that she is suffering. That's
it's actually the color. My couch is actually the color of my background that I have right now. It's that color blue.
And be concerned that your loved one is suffering. So again, we will have a link to that in the description of this episode. Thank you to everyone who has
so here somebody gifted 20, or no, they had been a member for 20 months, but people were starting to gift memberships. We were getting more and more things coming out, and soon you're going to see the crime victim that she, I don't know, you'll see.
Tonight. Thank you. Thank you for visiting our channel and for subscribing. And then I think because the reason we went live was to listen to the Guthrie siblings request Nancy come home. I did just want to listen to that one more time.
On behalf of our family, we want to thank all of you for the prayers for our beloved mom.
I'm going to pop it forward. I will put the links to everything because she doesn't say anything during this. It's just she's playing Savannah again. I will put the links to everything that we view down in the YouTube show notes. I do this to cite our sources and for fair use.
However,
this is where the money starts rolling in. They're starting to get some super stickers. They're getting more memberships, and some members that have been members for a while are starting to pop up. Then this person sends a super sticker, a few super stickers, and soon, is this the person that was the crime victim? Can't remember.
If you are hearing this, you are a strong woman. You are God's precious daughter, Nancy. We believe and know that even in this valley, He is with you.
We love you, Mom. Stay strong.
This is the crime victim. Shelly Norman 6741 says, I have been so triggered this week. Brings back too many memories of when our beloved Marcia was missing.
We love you. We love you.
Absolutely heartbreaking. I want to bring up one comment here. Somebody, a listener, has written, I have been so triggered this week. It brings back so many memories of when our beloved Marcia was missing. And this is a family member of Marcia Norman. We have covered her story here at Hidden True Crime. We will put a playlist in the description of this episode. But Marcia Norman's story matters. It is very important. And we mentioned it in the first episode that we covered about Nancy, because I'm so grateful that Nancy is getting the attention that she needs and that she deserves, and so often.
So here she is becoming a vulture for another victim's family. She makes sure to show us the playlists that she has created for that victim's family. I popped over here and looked for the playlist. Did I look in the playlist though? I guess you can't do a search in the playlist. Oh, there it is.
There's all this
So
dehumanization.
they've got 2 videos on Marsha Norman, and they made sure to let us know all about it.
Those that are elderly are not talked about as often in crime as other crimes. And this is Marsha Norman. And Marsha Norman went missing and was found brutally murdered by someone that earned her trust, a handyman, Jeffrey Ziz. He's now behind bars. He should have been behind bars before he killed Marsha Norman. A wonderful woman, a community member, a grandmother, a quilter. And Marsha's life was abruptly taken. She was planning traveling with her children and all sorts of wonderful things. And she lived in a beautiful home. And Jeffrey Ziz, she should have been able to trust him. He was a pastor, or had been.
You can tell there's extra moderation. Notice it's not moving at all. At this point, there's like 3,000 people in chat.
Pastor, a former pastor. He had a master's degree, was a family man, and he earned her trust. And
so this family will have no clue. They will have no clue what and who Lauren is, because they have successfully moderated it from Marsha Norman.
Did the
Marsha Norman's family.
And it is so heartbreaking when loved, vulnerable adults are taken advantage of or harmed. And we all hope that Nancy will come home. So as Savannah Guthrie just stated, the world is looking for her mother, for mommy, as she states. And
there she goes again. She had to get it in one last time. Call her mommy.
They are listening. They are ready to talk. They need proof of life and to know without a doubt that those that wrote this ransom note have her and they are willing to talk. So hopefully we will learn a lot more at the press conference tomorrow. We will plan to stream that here at Hidden True Crime, as well as bring you every update as it comes. So thank you for being here and supporting our channel and supporting Nancy and the Guthrie family. And thank you also for supporting Marsha Norman's family. And we hope that you will learn about her case. It is ongoing. It is important. And we'll also have a link to that playlist in the description of this video. I can't imagine how triggering this has been. So thank you. We heard you, Savannah, and all your siblings, and we will follow this wherever it goes. Bring Nancy home. We'll see you.
So they got another few.
Welcome to the.
So they got another few super stickers on their way out. And I say that things went good and bad for them, because you can see that things are picking up. They got more stickers, more hidden gem memberships than I've ever seen them get. But also the severe moderation is there, and it's quite possible that they're starting to pay people to give them super stickers so that, you know, it looks like they look good, better than they are, right? It's like she's poking fun at Savannah. I know. The way that she says Savannah's name, like, everybody knows how to say Savannah. She's such a weirdo. Like, she wants to stick out or something. She just annoys me. But my back is bothering me, so I get extra weird and ouchy and, like, irritated when I'm in pain. So I wanted to take a quick look at this Briana and try to figure out her a little bit more, because like I said, I feel like birds of a feather feathers definitely flocked together, and I'm not quite understanding why this woman would be on their show. We did see, like, in the past, she did come on. She is somebody who interviewed Lori Vallow over on Arizona's Family page. I pulled up her bio. Brittany Whitney, true crime correspondent. Brittany Whitney joined Arizona's Family in February 2018 as a general assignment reporter and became Gray Media's first true crime correspondent after creating the True Crime Arizona franchise, which consists of documentaries, a podcast, TV specials, a case investigations. Whitney also produced and hosts True Crime AZ Live, a live and interactive weekly streaming show that airs nationwide on platforms including YouTube and Roku. So we know why she's working with her. This woman's getting streamed internationally, and I'm sure that this is something that Lauren wants, because as we looked yesterday, we saw her in the Wayback Machine. She had wrote something about wanting her own TV show on OWN back in 2012 when OWN wanted to give away a TV show. Lauren wrote in. The show features interviews with live guests about the biggest cases in the country and in-depth analysis of what the true crime community is talking about. Is this it, though? Because it seems like, why didn't she interview Lauren back if she does interviews? You know what? Let's look and see if Lauren's ever been on her show. I don't see her. No, she has not been back on Lauren's show. If this is her show link. True Crime Arizona. I mean, I don't see why it wouldn't be. Let's see if John's in there. Just no. So we see that she hasn't been, Lauren hasn't been on her show, which is interesting. I know, like, I don't know, maybe you don't do that in, like, with news shows, but I know in true crime, oftentimes if you have one person, you invite a other content creator on your channel, oftentimes they will ask you on their channel. It'll be a thing, like, and then, yeah. So it's interesting. No, I don't think there's anything a doctor can do for my back. I've had back surgery, and if I ask for help, they just treat me like I'm seeking drugs or something, and I don't even bother doing it anymore. I just suffer, and I've figured out ways that, like, I used to be on heavy medications, and now the herbal stuff that I do, it helps out quite a bit. Yeah. So no, I don't ask a doctor for help. I actually have, like, trauma. I've got, like, PTSD with doctors. I've gone through a lot of traumas and trying to get help, and I've got a lot of medical conditions, and like, I just haven't had a good experience with the medical community. I'm sure they're out there, and I know one day I will find a good doctor, but I just haven't found it. I've had autoimmune issues and pain issues all my life. I was 13 years old, and my mom took me to a doctor because I was having migraines and constant body aches. And you know what that doctor did? He gave me a breast exam. That's what that doctor did. So that was my start at trying to find my problems out and the trauma. And I just have not had very good luck with doctors. And yeah. But thank you for asking. My back is much better today. It's just more pain when I sit, but less pain when I stand and walk. But I can't stand and walk for long periods of time. So I'm sure it's healing. Okay, so that's a little bit about our Brittany. I went over to her X account just to take a peek and see who she was, and I showed you earlier. I don't see anything on Lauren here, which is very interesting to me. So maybe they did just call in a favor or something. But let's take a peek at their interview over on Hidden True Crime with Dr. Jan and is this the right one? No, I'm on the wrong one because this is the other one. Hold on. Let me go back. All right, I gotta type her name in. Ugh.
Things the family.
Okay, there it is. Okay, guys. How many hours have I been going? I gotta check on the baby bird. It's an hour and a half in and he's been showering. So, I like to do that 7th inning stretch where we just take a little breather for a moment and let me get us over to some type of music. What are you guys in the mood for today? Have you found any good hidden true crime songs? What are you in the mood? Hidden true crime. Aleph has been putting out quite a few new things. The only thing that I'm running into with Aleph is some of her stuff, like when you make content on an app, you pay for the copyright, and so she has every legal right to use it, but they take it from me. So let's just do our OG, the Hidden True Crime, the musical. I'll speed it up a little bit and I'll be back in just a moment. If you guys could hit that thumbs up for me and share out into the algorithm, it would help me out a lot.
I've never been more nervous for a life in my entire life, and I've done a lot of lives, and this is not a lie or a show that I ever wanted to do or ever thought I would have to do. And this has been ongoing for months, what I have been dealing with. This is not drama. Hidden true crime doesn't get involved in drama. We stay very clear from that, and those of you that know us know that. So I hope that nobody calls this drama ever again. In fact, it's so real life, what has been going on with my family and with me for months, that I decided to go to where I felt would protect me, and that was the courts and legal. And I filed a civil stalking injunction. Somehow someone decided to let Wa and Quine know about my civil stalking injunction. Wa and Quine decided that they deserve to have cameras in the courtroom while I am explaining what my family has been going through for months. That Wa and Quine, I don't know, is it a slow true crime month? They thought that my family's pain should be live streamed on their trial channel. Johnny Depp, I'm not Amber Heard, I'm not Gwyneth Paltrow. I am a mother trying to protect my family, and I am a journalist who has never ever in my life heard of anyone streaming of civil stalking injunction. Because of what Wa and Quine did, I had to dismiss my civil stalking injunction. And I find it disgusting that anyone would want to do that to me or my family. I wanted to keep this private. I wanted to keep my pain and the bullying and the abuse and the harassment and the defamation and the pain that I have been dealing with behind the scenes for months. I wanted to keep it private, not live stream to millions of people watching War and Quine. I'm gonna take back my narrative, and I'm gonna own my narrative. And I'm gonna tell you everything tonight.
here I am.
There she is. Okay, so let's keep going. Let's get this back up on stage and let's take a peek at this interaction between a criminal psychologist reacts to Lori Vallow Daybell's post-verdict interview with Briana Whitney. Come on down, Briana. You are on the stage to figure out what and why. What in the world are you doing?
Here with Dr. John Matthias, criminal psychologist, someone who has followed the Lori Vallow Daybell case for nearly
Up you
6
go.
years.
Get up there.
And there was a big interview dropped yesterday by.
So, welcome to everybody just coming in. The first part of the show, we took a peek at Lauren and her interview yesterday with this Briana. Is her name Briana or Brianne? Briana Whitney. And I'm just very curious about this Briana Whitney because we know that there's some questionableness on her friend Susan Hendricks. So I just really tend to question anybody that would befriend Lauren and John.
Tragedy.
Oops,
And
wrong one. It is the right one, but that I remember when I couldn't find the tab. That's the tab I was looking for. But this is the one.
Arizona family, Briana, reporter Briana, and it is with Lori Vallow Daybell after her guilty verdict. We have watched it. You have now watched it. By the way, I called John this morning, who also is my husband. I called husband.
Look at those
John.
eyebrows. They're up to the sky. They're facing north. I actually prefer these eyebrows because they make me laugh. I like these eyebrows best.
Morning, and I said, so what did you think? And love your mug, by the way. I saw that. And he said, what did you think? And he said, I'll tell you later. I have no idea what you think. And so here we are, real time.
Can you read my mug?
It could probably be worse, says
It
your
could
mom.
probably be worse, right? Well, so
Could
I think
Lori's interview have probably been worse, though? I
think so that's how I'm feeling this morning. But
I got to tell you, one of the biggest reasons, one of my biggest incentives in getting off of pain medication was the monthly, having to refill it monthly and dealing with the doctors. And then it started getting really bad because even the pharmacist started treating you funny. And it was just like, I just can't. Yeah. I feel really horrible for those that are still on pain medication because I know now, like, they're even doing surgeries where they're not giving out pain medication. So the world has gotten really crazy. And so I do all that I can to treat my pain in a more natural way, which is crazy because a lot of people poo-poo that and like thumb their nose at me for doing the devil's lettuce and microdosing, but it's the best thing that I've ever done, getting off of that other prescribed bullshit. And yeah, but I feel horrible for the people that still are on it and need it and can't get it. It's horrible.
I think this is a good place to start because my mug, I didn't grab this mug intentionally, by the way. I just grabbed one of our big mugs. We don't have a lot of big mugs like this, and I need a lot of morning.
Who cares about your mug?
Number one, I'm not sure it could be worse for Lori. So I'll start with that thought. But the second thing that's fascinating about this interview,
look at how noticeably happier they are here. Like, not a care in the world. And I've got this speed on 135. Good God, they're slow talkers.
It's a quick interview. It's like 20 minutes or so, but it is action packed.
She's just like joyfully pleased, and he is too. I mean, it's just night and day. The way they interact here is just night and day. Let's pop over and see one of their recent lives where they're sitting next to each other. Oh, wait. I don't think they've done a recent live. It's all videos where they're sitting next to each other. Miserable. I think they sat next to
of
there.
love, mental illness, and destruction. Which
we got that. And we got that. I'd say somebody's aged a few years here. And this was just 9 months ago.
So there's
Yes.
a lot in this interview to talk about. And one of them is this issue of it could probably be worse, right? Because there's a moment in this interview where she talks about her near-death experience. And she
This
says,
is where she was getting away with the knives in the back.
it's important to consider that the near-death experience caused her to do a life review where she examined what's most important in life. And this is what she found to be most important in life. You ready for this?
Yeah.
She says, what matters most is, number one, how you react. Number two, how you treat other people. And number three, the love that you give. So let's start with the first one. It could probably be worse. Like what she says Briana says, tell me more about this, how you can react. And she says, you need to find, quote, joy in every situation. So I think Lori turns out to be a big proponent of it could probably be worse because she's trying to find joy in every situation. Clearly, this is someone who's never going to walk out of prison.
Would we also call this toxic positivity?
Well,
to the extreme.
When you say it could probably be worse, I guess there's some acknowledgement of what worse can mean, right? But like for Lori, the reason I want to start with this is because this idea of finding joy in every situation, while it might be applicable to someone who attends self-help workshops like every day or something, there's this immense denial of reality with Lori. Like one thing that comes across in this interview more than anything else is this is a woman who's divorced from reality. Right? This is a woman. And so this idea, I mean, I get that if you're going to spend the rest of your life in prison, you're going to want to find some joy or some ways to cope or deal with that. And obviously that would have been the case whether she was convicted here or not. But I think I start with this because, for me, I have to have a coffee mug that reminds me it could probably be worse.
Shut up
Otherwise,
with the
I'm
coffee
going
mug.
to wallow in how bad it is, right? But for her, she's just completely in denial of reality. And she wants to find all this joy. And that brings me to a second point that she talks about. She talks about
one of my pet peeves, especially when I'm in pain, is I can't stand when people try to act quirky. Like, oh, look at me, I'm so quirky, my mug. I just can't stand it. I really can't. I lose my patience for that kind of stuff.
Moment on the stand with Adam, her brother, and how she was going to start with this joke about how he's Ernest T. Watson, which apparently was Adam's name in school that they used to joke about. And she mentions she's trying to be funny. And she says, quote, we were a joking family. And, so she dismisses like,
and I feel like Lauren and John can be compared right back to Lori's wackiness. Like they do the same wacky weirdo stuff that Lori does. They think they're a funny family. They think they're a quirky family. They got this little thing where they go to In-N-Out Burger on Christmas Eve. We're just like quirky and overweight like that, right? John's dying because of his weight, but we got this quirky little thing where we go to In-N-Out on Christmas Eve, right? They're just like, if they could just point those fingers back at themselves.
Green chili chicken enchilada thing is just kind of being funny, whereas we know it wasn't. We know that she challenged him on it, and she said, you don't remember that. You don't remember my amazing, like she did it in a way that was quite stern, right? Quite serious, right? But this joking family idea is important. It's a little snippet from this interview. It's a very small moment, but what she essentially says is we were a family that didn't deal with reality. We were a family that we joked all the time because we couldn't cope with the real world and we couldn't deal with reality. And I think that's part of what you're seeing here. This is someone who can't deal with evidence. She can't deal with facts. She can't deal with the real world. And so this need to find joy in every situation.
John has to pontificate before the woman comes on with the interview to show that, yes, indeed, he does know something. I'm going to move us forward and get us closer to where they introduce her. I will put the links for everything we view down in the YouTube show notes. Today, we're coming to you on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. So be sure to give us love on the platform you're viewing us on.
To harm her.
Absolutely. Talk about projection. It's the very thing she says in the welfare check, the very first welfare check in November of 2019. She says that her brother is trying to kill her for her $2 million life insurance policy.
Okay.
And that is exactly what she is alluding to. And she is she is saying, even though she's joking with Adam about chicken enchiladas, he's also trying to
I'm the
murder
weirdo
her.
that thinks of those things. Like, I wish I didn't, but when I look at people, I do think those thoughts, and I cannot imagine this this at all. And isn't it interesting how just the other day she told us that they were going to go back to sitting at the table and doing their side by sides? Well, 9 months ago, they're not side by side. Like, ugh.
To get $2 million.
And so she brings that up just quickly. She brings it up tangentially here, but what a moment, right? Like, I forgot about that. I forgot that, yeah, now that you reminded me that she did say a few times that she thought Adam was trying to kill her. And so, again, this idea that this inability to deal with reality and this idea that she's this perpetual victim. In fact, I would go even further and say that there's a sense here in which she sees herself as a martyr.
She absolutely
this goes beyond victimization. This gets into martyrdom with helping the women in jail and having a voice.
John knows something about victimhood and martyrdom. I think that they both do. Wouldn't you say that they're both the biggest victims and martyrs there are? Because
it's about the fact that years ago when that person cut me off, she could not handle my vulnerability and my raw emotion, and I'm still pissed. Years later, I'm pissed that somebody cut me off when I was going to answer my question. And probably the most vulnerable way I could ever answer a question. Because it was about my son.
This.
I'm the victim! Remember, I'm the victim!
For people that don't have a voice, for the voiceless, it's out there.
It is. And we have actually somebody backstage that I would like to bring on to discuss this interview. I think we have someone here that can help us understand this interview
They
better.
are currently talking about the Daybell case. They are bringing Briana on and we're looking at this because she was just on interviewing yesterday on HTC about the Guthrie case, and I want to see their other interview that they did with her. I went over to her channel, Briana's channel, and it doesn't look like she's ever had them on her channel, but they've had her on their channel a few times
than we ever possibly could, and that is.
And Briana is a much smaller channel. She's at 11.6K. So they are. But is there does her channel, her news organization, have a true crime channel? Because it just seems so small. It seems so small. Like, I'm almost as big as her. So I feel like maybe I'm not at the right channel, but as it is now, 11.6K. And not to say 11.6K is small, because it's not. It's taken me a lot of work to get where I am, and I'm sure it's taken her a lot of work to get where she is. It's just to have gotten the interview with Lori and to be on a news station channel, it just seems smaller than it should be. But
the person that interviewed Lori Vallow Daybell, Briana Whitney. Hello, Briana.
Hi, thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. We're gonna put you in the middle here just to make you extra uncomfortable. That's what we do. All eyes on you. You look lovely, and we know that you are off to work because you work where Arizona Family. Tell us what you do there.
Yeah, so Arizona's Family is 3TV and CBS 5. We're a duopoly station, and I'm the true crime correspondent there. So I cover everything true crime, not just the Vallow Daybell story, but kind of anything that happens around Arizona or crimes around the country that have Arizona ties. And so it keeps me busy, but obviously this has been
they
a huge
made
case for
his playroom into a closet, didn't they? Right off her office, right off the office where she talks about true crime all day. I just hope they soundproofed it, which, I mean, then that goes into weirdness of soundproofing a closet. So I don't know.
Arizona.
Obviously, we know they didn't if he thinks that Chad Daybell's coming for dinner.
Oh, but for everybody here locally, this trial has been fun.
Yeah, we'll put a link to where people can find you and follow you. You're an excellent journalist in the description of this episode. So thank you for being with us.
Yeah.
And I just want to say that you have now interviewed Lori Daybell twice, which is one more time than Keith Morrison or anybody else that's interviewed her. So,
and I'm sure there's some jealousy there that she hasn't gotten into interview. Look at John there. Yeah.
And what an interview. That was yesterday, right?
That was yesterday. Yeah, yesterday morning.
How you doing?
I'm tired. I mean, I know we all have covered the trial for weeks now, and it's been a lot of long days and everything like that. But I think, too, just kind of the mental fatigue of preparing for an interview like that and then getting it. And it's not like we just take a deep breath after. We have to do everything for our newscasts and, the digital and the social play. And I think just even having time to process what I learned and being there in front of her and having to kind of keep that train on the tracks, so to speak, with the interview is pretty mentally and even emotionally exhausting. Like I almost forget that I'm listening to her discuss these horrific crimes and even just listening to her talk about it, but like her facial expressions with it is a lot. It's a lot to kind of unpack, and I feel like I'm still doing that.
Yeah, you probably have to.
Oh, it's exhausting when you have an interview that's going off the track and you're trying to keep it on. And it's even worse when you've got multiple people in an interview going off the track. I've done some interviews where I've gotten off and I'm like exhausted. So I can only imagine interviewing Lori Daybell. Ugh.
Journalists, you put things aside, you're going in, it's game day, you just go in for your interview, and then you have to like go back and like, what just happened sometimes? At least that's what I do. So I'm projecting there.
But, no, that's exactly right. It's exactly right. I think it'll take a couple days, and we're still working on a big show today, kind of with like everything that happened in the trial and her interview and all of that. So I think after tonight, I'll finally take a moment to breathe and kind of reflect on it all.
Okay. When you conclude that show, send it to us and we'll put a link to that in the description of this episode as well.
Thank you.
We'll,
appreciate that.
Yeah. You have been there every day of the trial. I want to say I've gotten to know Briana. We've sat by each other as we wait in line. You're an excellent journalist. I've told John about you, and we're just so grateful again that you're here to kind of help us understand what happened, which I do want to know. Take us through. You got this interview. She's willing, clearly trusts your station, trusts you. What is it like to prepare for that and go in?
Well, there's a lot of logistics behind the scenes that people don't realize. I mean, it's not just that she's like, I want to do an interview. There's so much coordination with the jail and the sheriff's office and then her team. And then, they're like, you have 15 minutes with her. And I mean, in watching back, I tried to prepare as much as I could, ask her like a slew of questions. Obviously, we wanted her reaction to the trial and testimony and things like that. But I wanted to circle back to some of those things, the family tragedy and how the kids died, and tried to weave that in. But when you reflect back, like there's a couple times where I wish I would have asked a little bit more, asked like a couple follow-up questions. But it's very hard in that moment to walk that fine line of wanting to push hard, wanting to get information, but also having to respect the fact that she was there giving us her time, and at any moment she could have shut that interview down. And so it's really tough to strike that right tone with her to keep her engaged and speaking, while also trying to push back on a lot of the clear lies that she told us, and also just even these kind of like crazy details that we know that the public knows to not be true.
What was to you, I know you're still unpacking it, what were some of the most shocking things she said to you this time around?
So right off the bat, probably the main thing I noticed was she was more open than the first interview. And I think because we got past the verdict, I feel like we saw a little bit more of the real Lori, which was tapping into those kind of what I would call more narcissistic beliefs, but kind of turning them into how she viewed the situation. And so I knew it was going to be a little bit different, but I still felt like I could get to her the best way possible. Off the bat, I think that I really was taken aback by everything she said about Tylee. That was a huge part of this that I didn't necessarily see coming. For one thing, it seemed to me that she wanted the jurors to know that Tylee was dead. And of course, we spent so much time tiptoeing around that. In her mind, from what I gathered in talking to her, she wanted to establish this picture that Tylee killed herself because she had a bad relationship with Charles Vallow. And, of course, that is in that exact moment where I wish I would have said, well, then how did Tylee bury herself? And I didn't ask that. I probably should have. But she's going off of this narrative now that Tylee killed herself and killed JJ. And that's obviously wildly different than everything that we know to be true. But I'm thinking, why would you want the jurors to know that Tylee is dead? Because that just opens such a can of worms. And I think she assumed and thought that the jury would believe her if she got to say that Charles and Tylee were in such a tumultuous relationship of like stepfather-daughter that she wanted to take her own life. So I think that struck me, and just kind of like, I know Tylee's in heaven. I know where she is. Like, okay. That was really interesting. A part that stuck out to me was the way that she explained her cross-examination of Charles dating women. I thought that was an interesting moment because we all heard her in the courtroom there. She was clearly affected, and it happened twice. It wasn't just Nancy Jo Hancock. She also got into it a little bit with Detective Duncan about, his phone and who he was going on dates with. And obviously there was a bunch of objections at that time, but she told me she wasn't bothered. She was just surprised. And I thought that was interesting. And then she's like, but I didn't know he was going on dates. And I'm like, but you were having an affair. And she's like, well, no, we were just best friends. We weren't romantic until after Charles died, to which I was like, but then you got married just a couple months later. And she's like, yeah, correct. I'm like, Okay.
Look at the looks on their faces, these two faces. They want to talk, they want to say something, but they're just waiting for their moment. They're just waiting. They're not really hearing too much of what she's saying. They're just waiting for their moment to say something. Because Dr. John and Lauren like to hear what their thoughts. They love to put their thoughts out into the world so that they can hear them.
I think that stuck out to me too, that, she is going to portray that. Obviously all the evidence we saw was that Chad was in the mix well before that. And I was hoping she was going to answer if Chad Daybell was the catalyst of this domino effect that she has used as a phrase with me before. And she wouldn't really go there. She really wanted to make it more the Charles and the Tylee as a domino effect. But obviously Chad Daybell coming into the picture spurred so much of everything that happened after.
Right. And we also have the evidence, like the text messages of how they met. I mean, you don't need any more evidence of their affair that was going on. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I think those were a couple moments that really stuck out to me. I did think it was interesting that she does say Alex Cox should have called 911 sooner. I actually wasn't expecting her to say that, and she did. So I thought that was kind of an interesting tidbit.
Yeah. Well, he should have, if they wanted to get away from murder, he probably.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. Right.
Shoulda, coulda, woulda. Maybe you shouldn't have shot him twice. Or I know that some people.
They're a lot alike. It's so strange how. But when I don't like somebody, or something is bothering me, I always look at it extra hard because I think to myself, is that a trait in me that I don't like? Because a lot of things that I like, if I'm trying to change in myself, it will start irritating me that other people are doing it, right? So I think, do I do that? Or I think, has that been done to me? Like, who did that to me that makes me feel this way? So it's one of the two for everybody, I think. So, and it's so strange that these two don't like each other. Or somebody said Lori doesn't like Lauren. So I think these two would not like each other because they're so similar. Their BS is so similar that they wouldn't like each other.
That she took that second shot. Wow. What have you ever been in front of someone?
And I'm not saying that Lauren's BS has ever turned dangerous like Lori's has, but I'm just saying their backstabbing ways and their delusional ways are very similar, and even down to their wedding rings are similar. So it's just, yeah.
Someone just so well, let me ask specifically one part. When you said, would you have liked the jury to know that Tylee was dead? She absolutely evaded it multiple times, and you kept pushing back as much as you could. And she actually never answered, because it was like she did say, oh, if they knew that, but she would never say yes. Right? Unless we missed something. You showed us the whole interview, right?
No, she never said yes, but the way that she was answering that question, it being there with her, I took it as she wanted to be able to reveal this information to give context about Charles and Tylee, and felt she was precluded from doing so. But you're right. She never came right out and said, yes, I wish that they knew that she was dead.
I actually have not, now that I'm thinking about it, I have not looked at her interview. I was over here while I was listening to this, looking at some of her shorts, just because I'm looking for comments. Because I know I can't be the only person who doesn't like hidden true crime that is deeply wondering about this Briana woman. Who is she? Why is she hanging out and supporting hidden true crime? I mean, I even went over to Reddit, and I don't see anybody over here really talking about it either. But it does seem like things are slowing down here, but I think a lot of the slowing down has to do with the constant, and I'm not bitching. Well, I am bitching about it, but I'm not bitching about that they're doing it, because I understand why they're doing it. But the moderation is like a pain in the butt. And so nobody's really even talking about this woman. And when I go over to here, when she's putting out, here's a short that she did on Savannah Guthrie, and it got 2 comments. Is she deleting comments? Are people commenting? Because it just seems weird that one of the biggest cases that she's probably covered, well, although, I mean, that only got 834 views. Let's see.
Let's go
with our reporters and our law enforcement experts. But I want to begin with Briana Whitney, who has been reporting on this story from the very beginning. She's with Arizona's 3 TV and CBS 5 and host of True.
Let's go over the two main.
All right. Sorry. It's acting weird. Let's go over and see the comments here. Enjoying your updates a great deal. I appreciate your updates. Good job, Briana. People should be spreading more time on the field investigating the case. Keep Guthrie's family in our prayers. Yes, indeed. Still not a lot of comments, which seems very strange to me. But I don't know if there's... I don't think there's... You can't... You know, I wish there was a way to figure out deleted comments, but there isn't. But let's go over to her channel and take a quick peek. Oh, wait. Maybe it's over here. Let's come over here really quick. So this is 342K subscribers. They're not even... These videos aren't getting a lot of views. Well, I mean... Maybe this is typical. You know what, you guys? This is making me feel not so bad about my channel because, I mean, yeah. Okay. All right. Anyway, let's see who's reporting on this, though. Let's see if we can find her in a live. She's got a live today at 9. Did she do a live last night? Where is... No, she didn't do one yesterday, so... I will try to remember to come and watch her comments to see if anybody is making any comments on this. Let's come down here. Why even do the interview if you can't answer any questions? Same reporter that interviewed Lori Daybell. Should be the same reporter that is teaming up with Hidden True Slime. The reporter, way too intrusive. Not good reporter. That was intolerable. Let's see. I don't know. That was 2 days ago.
Of media spotlight that this had.
Just look at, just take a quick peek and see what they're saying, why it wasn't a good report.
As so many people obviously concerned, what can people expect from you guys tomorrow? Will you be having a press conference? Do you expect that? Do you expect more information? I think people kind of want to know when they should look for more information that would come from you guys on where the investigation stands.
Yeah, you know, you guys get bashed as much as we do in our profession, but we really do lean on you, and we need your support and your help. More times than not. This is just one of those times. So we really appreciate all you've done with this, getting the information out there, and it's not easy with this sheriff to get information from.
All right, let's go to her page and just take a quick peek at the Lori interview. See if I can find it on this page. And then we're going to wrap things up, take it over to Gigi, Pretty Lies and Alibis channel. We're going to get some Gigi in here.
Pull up Gigi. You know, call Gigi. We call Gigi. You want me to call Gigi? You want to piece Gigi in as we go too?
Take it home with the updates with the Savannah Guthrie case. But let's just see, let's watch her interview. Actually reminds me of someone that I don't like. It's so hard for me to like people when that happens. Like, I'm getting that feeling like, she reminds me of somebody. Okay, that's good to know. I will stop here and we won't play any more of her channel. Well, see, that tells me something. She's working for a channel that's what That's what happens. Interesting. Okay, well, you guys, like I said, it is time for us to start wrapping things up. I do want to change gears and go back into the Guthrie case and wrap things up and talk about where we are in the case. And, you know, we all love Gigi. And yesterday, people were talking about how they really enjoyed her news reporting on it. So I thought that we would.
You know, call Gigi. We call Gigi. You want me to call Gigi? You want to piece Gigi in as we go too?
So let's piece our Gigi in. And also I've got some Brian Entenmann too, just if we can't find the answers over on Gigi's page. I did notice over on Pretty Lies and Alibis that our Gigi is almost up to 100K. So be sure to subscribe to Gigi. Let's get her up to 100K. That would be like really awesome for her.
What's in our Alibuyers? Hope you guys are having a good day. I just wanted to recap the press conference about 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie, who is missing out of Tucson, Arizona. We had been told that there was going to be more information shared, such as things found at the crime scene, a possible vehicle of interest, and then where the investigation is at this point. The two things that really weren't addressed were the crime scene and the vehicle of interest. But let's jump into what was said. He said Miss Guthrie's life is in jeopardy and they have to find her. Remember, she has medications that she needs to take, and if she hasn't taken them after a 24-hour period, that can be fatal. So obviously, time is of the essence here. And they do hope that she's still alive, as we all do. The FBI briefly got up and announced that they are assisting the sheriff's office there in Tucson with the investigation. They're mainly providing analytical and technical support, which includes analyzing and downloading cell phones, obtaining cell tower information. They're conducting interviews and providing any and all investigative support that the sheriff's office needs. They opened it up to questions, and one of the reporters asked something I've been questioning since the very beginning. If you're sure it's not targeted, why no threat to the public? He said, we have crime in Tucson all the time. And is there somebody who is kidnapping elderly people from their beds every night? He said, we think she was taken against her will, and that's where we're at. So for me personally, and I've said this since the beginning, not putting out there that there is an active threat to the community a lot of times means they have an idea of who they may be looking for, but they really don't want to come out and say it because you don't want a potential suspect to hear that, hey, we have an idea who maybe did this. But I do believe that this was random and not targeted. We would maybe hear a different line of dialogue coming out to the public about maybe you should lock your doors, check on your elderly loved ones, that kind of thing. But we don't have that.
I mean, but they did say the same thing about Koberger, and they had no clue about him. So I don't know.
And for me personally, I'm absolutely cool with them keeping a lot of things under wraps close to their chest because our desire to know does not trump the importance of.
I absolutely agree with that, especially in the beginning. In the very beginning, I think you kind of have to keep it close to your vest because you are looking for somebody. You're looking for somebody who came into an elderly woman's home who can't walk, needs a walker, needs medication, and took her in the middle of the night and she was bleeding. So yeah.
The investigation, which ultimately the goal is to bring Miss Guthrie back alive. If they were to say something at one of these press conferences that tips somebody off, that could be a very bad thing. So I get it. They are waiting for DNA samples to come back that was taken at her house. They have received some results, but he said there was nothing to indicate a suspect, which leads me to believe possibly that was Miss Guthrie's DNA. Just speculation on my part. Brian Enton, I recognized his voice. He asked about a camera that is missing from the front of Miss Guthrie's house and wanted to know, did the suspect take it?
I'll answer your question if you answer my question. So, Carol, your question is why trash people? Maybe because they are more successful. Weird channel. I wouldn't call it trashing. So I guess that's where we diverge in opinion. I feel like what I'm doing is showing the truth of what somebody has done to other people in the harmful way. So I don't find it trashing people telling the truth. I also don't consider it hating when you tell the truth. I believe that's a misconstructed society norm that people have put on one another to keep other people silent. So that's my answer to your question. My question is, why are you here? Okay, so now it's your turn.
Said they are looking into it. However, right now they are finished with her residence. But of course, if they need to go back in the house, they will. And that was really everything that came out. Not a whole lot that's new, but I do have alerts set in 50 different places for updates. So as soon as anything new is released or comes out, at least through a credible mainstream media source, I will relay that to you guys. So a good reminder, if you're not subscribed, click subscribe. And if you want notifications of when I post new content, click that bell icon. All of that's free, costs you nothing. That way you're not missing.
Be sure to subscribe to Gigi so we can get her up to 100K so she can get that plaque. She really deserves it. That's one of my goals, is to get up to 100K. So let's pop over to Brian Enton and see what he has to say. I did see this morning he was the one that reported that the police were back at Nancy Guthrie's house.
Hey guys, thanks
and
so
this
much
was posted 3 hours ago.
for checking out my show. I really, really appreciate it. Please click to subscribe. I really appreciate all the support. There's been a ton of developments over the last 12 hours or so in the Nancy Guthrie investigation. Nancy Guthrie, of course, is missing from her home behind me. She is Savannah Guthrie's daughter, and Savannah Guthrie put out this just really emotional and sad video message about her mom, about the situation, and also pleading to whoever allegedly abducted her mom, and even saying that they're willing to talk to that person in light of these ransom notes that we have heard about. And I'm going to get to that more in a second. I'm going to play you what Savannah said. I'm also going to talk to a retired FBI agent about what all of this means, about what's happening behind the scenes. You know, there are a lot of indications, obviously, that Savannah Guthrie and her family are sort of coordinating with law enforcement in terms of releasing this video. And I'll tell you something else I learned about that a little later in this episode that indicates that that is the case. And so I'll get to that in a second. But first, I want to talk about what happened outside Nancy Guthrie's house, because this was really interesting. You know, I've been out here for days. Police took the crime scene tape down. They were gone. There was no one out here for a while. And then there was private security hired by the family just to keep an eye on the house. But then all of a sudden, yesterday, which would have been, get my days mixed up. Yesterday would have been Wednesday.
I was
all of a
totally
sudden around,
mixed up yesterday. Yesterday I thought was Tuesday, but that happens when I hurt myself. I lose my days.
4 o'clock or so local time, all of these sheriff's office pickup trucks and evidence units came down the road, really out of nowhere, went into the yard, and they set up a full crime scene at Nancy Guthrie's house yet again. And we're going in and out of the house. I want to show you, this is drone video. Shout out to my cameraman, Mo. He got his drone up very, very quickly, and we were able to see what was going on. And you can see they cordoned off the front of the house. They had the caution tape, the crime scene tape out very, very quickly. You could see the evidence trucks and the technicians that were out here with law enforcement. There was also a canine out here. They were searching around the house. We saw them out in the brush. There's a lot of cactus. It's rugged terrain here around Nancy Guthrie's house. And then perhaps they were all over the house. And then what was most interesting is they really seemed to be focused in on the garage. And Mo was able to get this shot of the garage with his drone. They were going in and out of the garage. They had evidence bags that they were packing up. Again, the garage seemed to be sort of a focal point. And then really within 2 hours, they closed the garage. They took the crime scene tape down and they were gone. I'm going to talk to my guest in a minute, retired FBI agent Steve Moore, about what may have been going on here. Like, why would they clear the crime scene days ago and then randomly show up and seem to do something very targeted, like a targeted search, because they were in and out so quickly. It was only 2 hours. So I'm going to ask Steve about that in a second. Something else interesting, just 10 minutes away from here, is where Nancy Guthrie's daughter, Annie, Savannah's sister, Annie Guthrie, lives. I was over there also today. And we saw FBI agents there yesterday. We saw other federal agents there today. And we were able to get video of them coming and going. And they had ICAC on their that was like the acronym on their shirts, which is Internet Crimes Against Children, which, talking to some of my law enforcement sources, makes sense because that is a unit within the federal government that deals with kidnappings. They're very, very good at downloading data from phones. But what's interesting is when they went in, these federal agents with ICAC, I think they call them ICAC, they went in with a little tripod, I noticed, and a ring light, which now looking back makes sense in light of this Savannah Guthrie interview. They were likely assisting Savannah and her siblings in shooting this video and would be highly specialized in what would need to go into a video like this to appeal to a possible kidnapper. Let me play you what Savannah said and her sister said in the video, and then after that, I will get to retired FBI agent Steve Moore. We can kind of break down everything that happened, the search at the house, and then also this new Savannah Guthrie video.
On behalf of our...
Okay, we've already watched that part. It's clear that so we're going to pop over here. I see this ex-FBI agent spots 4 clues in Nancy Guthrie's family video message. We're going to take a look at that. Then I actually want to finish things up going over to Christina's TikTok and just taking a peek at Christina and seeing how she's doing, and then we're wrapping things up. Be sure to give this live a thumbs up for me, guys. And if you like my content, please share.
It's clear that every effort is being made from family and law enforcement to get Nancy home. But there were 4 things that stuck out to the former agent who spoke to me after he watched Savannah's message. Those 4 things are: 1, humanizing the victim, which is Nancy. Savannah made comments about her mom and who she is as a person. Number 2, the former agent says he doesn't think this is a direct plea to kidnappers, which you'll hear him explain in just a moment. Number 3, family wants proof of life. They want to know she's alive. And 4, he thinks there has been a lack of communication between a potential kidnapper, law enforcement, and family. So this is family making that step. Here's more of a breakdown from that agent tonight.
They're humanizing everyone here to make, if there are kidnappers out there, to make those kidnappers feel like maybe they should care. We've all acknowledged there's a ransom note. It appears to me that the investigators aren't 100% convinced it's legitimate. At one point, Savannah's sister mentions, "Mama, we need you to come home." So she's talking directly to the victim as if she has control of coming home herself. That was interesting to me. It seemed to leave the door open a little bit for this not to be a kidnapping.
That former agent added that he feels there is not an open line of communication right now. Yes, there was a possible ransom note, but he says he thinks this video from Savannah and her siblings is a plea to open up those lines of communication with the kidnappers.
It happened on January 31st. Here we have why Nancy Guthrie's son-in-law, he's the prime suspect in her abduction with Ashley Banfield. Megan Kelly is going over it.
Who hosts her own podcast called Drop Dead Serious, is breaking exclusives on this case like nobody's business. And yesterday she had quite a doozy. I'm going to bring her on. She's going to explain what she learned, but she reported exclusively that they actually do have a potential suspect in the case. And the identity is rather shocking. We're going to bring her in now. Ashley Banfield, thank you so much for joining us. So tell us what you say, very reliable law enforcement source told you about a possible suspect in the case.
Sure. So after almost 4 decades in this business, I've collected a few friends, the FBI and in local law enforcement all over the country. And the source that I have is impeccable. And he said that not only were the cameras smashed, plural cameras smashed, so that the suspect likely knew about the locations of them, but that the car belonging to the sister of Savannah Guthrie, Annie Guthrie, was towed, impounded, and taken into evidence. And this is the wording. It's very important. The wording is very important. He said they now believe the son-in-law may be the prime suspect. Those are the words. Son-in-law may be the prime suspect at this point. And I'm very mindful. I covered the Elizabeth Smart case. I was out in Salt Lake City for 5 weeks while Elizabeth Smart had vanished. And I recall specifically a lot of language saying Ed Smart.
Yeah, I remember just watching that docuseries recently, and Ed was really tore up by the way they treated him.
Likely the prime suspect here.
That's why I keep saying, just, they always look at the family. and these two people were the last two people to be seen with the mom. They live close, so they really have to investigate these people.
And so you got to be really.
I just really hope it's not the brother-in-law or the boyfriend. I really do.
Really mindful that, as you know, Megan, you're a lawyer. Police investigations start in the middle of the circle and they go out in concentric circles in terms of investigating family members, right? You start in the middle of the family, you investigate out from there. Then you go to contractors and friends and workers and everybody else who's had some contact. And then there's the randoms. So it is not surprising that someone in the family is being looked at. That language to me was pretty strident, though.
It's surprising to me because there was forced entry. And from the beginning, I thought, well, they must have ruled out the family pretty quickly if this is a case of forced entry, because the family wouldn't need to do that. The family would presumably have a key, and if they didn't have a key and they wanted to get in, they just knock on the door and Nancy Guthrie would open it.
So this is super interesting. And I had a long conversation with my former colleague, Brian Enton, about this, because Brian identified blood drops at the front door, right? And he's shown the video of it. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
However, my source says the back door is wide open. Back door left wide open. That's what my source said. I had a, Megan, half-hour conversation 2 days ago.
I watched it.
I mean, is it possible that the person was trying to get in the front door and hurt themselves, but there's no blood throughout the house? That's the weird part. There's no blood in the entryway, because I was thinking, like, is it possible they came in the door and were bleeding and then they got her and went out the back door? Or also, I said yesterday, it could be more than one person. Maybe somebody went out the front door and somebody went out the back door, and the person that went out the back door just didn't shut it. Or they went in the back door and they didn't shut it when they went in, and they just went upstairs and got her and took her out the front door. So many possibilities.
Yeah. And I specifically said, so are you telling me, when you said that she did not walk out of that house on her own?
It's
I said, are you telling
alarming
me?
because she's an older woman and it seems like there's a lot of it, but somebody did point out that older people do tend to have their skin tears easier and they bleed longer. So I don't know. Especially if you have diabetes or so. I know she's got a lot of medical issues and she could be on medication like a blood thinner that just makes her bleed quite a bit, right? Because I think she has heart issues.
That she might have been carried out of that house. And I used the word over the threshold of the front door. And he said, I didn't say front door. But he didn't say no carried. But when he said, I didn't say no to the front door.
So
and then,
could she have been taken out the back door and whoever went out the front door was just bleeding? There's that too. That's another possibility. Do we know it's her blood? I've not heard that it's her blood yet.
And the next day I'm getting information about the back door. It's pretty safe to say, well, that makes perfect sense. However, why is there blood at the front door? And Brian Enton said he couldn't find the trail continuing past to the walkway that would take you to the driveway. Now it is gravel, a little harder maybe to see any blood, but not impossible. So I'm trying to go.
But couldn't they have gotten her in the car, Ashley? I mean, I'm picturing a scenario where couldn't all those facts be consistent with they came in through the back door, then they got her, then they brought her out the front door after injuring her.
Could.
Then the blood trail continued just to the driveway.
Well, it didn't.
Where they then put her in a car.
That's the problem.
It ended well prior to the driveway?
Yeah, the blood trail is just at the front door on those tiles. Then the gravel starts right away, and it's a walkway to the driveway, and it's not close. I mean, it's a bit of a ways. Nancy Guthrie can't walk.
But maybe that's the point that they picked her up and carried her. Maybe she was walking, hobbling, and it got too much at there, and then they just scooped her up, and then that would get rid of the blood. Or maybe they realized, oh shit, there's blood dripping everywhere. Scoop her up. I mean, it just feels like there's a lot of possibilities.
50 yards, pardon me. Nancy Guthrie can't walk 50 yards on her own, so she would need assistance. And if you're bleeding and you've been in some sort of a melee, that would be even less. So I was going through the scenarios in my mind. Okay, maybe the front door.
What I read this morning is that she disappeared about 9:30, January 31st. So it would have been January 31st, early morning of February 1st. So it's been 5 days.
And the doorbell is rung to get Mrs. Guthrie downstairs, because that would be difficult in the middle of the night, get her down those stairs. So the confrontation might happen at the front door, right there at the tiles. There's a struggle. And then because the car is not parked right out front where all that could be visible potentially, maybe the car is around the back, and that's why they go out the back door. And because
is that a
you're now
possibility?
struggling,
I have no idea.
Could a car be
parked
surmising.
You know,
I don't know.
But I was just going to say, maybe they started taking her out the front door and they're like, oh shit, this is too much. Let's get her out the back door. But then there would be blood throughout the house. So I don't know.
No, because I've been trying to see with drone video whether the car could get out into a darker spot or maybe out of camera view because the smashing has to happen. But I was told that the cameras were smashed and plural. So if there's a camera in the back, camera in the front, smashed. And then, of course, Brian Enton noticed it and said, asked the sheriff, did you take them? Or do you think the guy or the suspect took them? And the sheriff had a funny answer. He said, yes, I noticed that.
Yes, I saw them last night. They sure are.
Into it.
Yes. So what he saw, what Brian Enton saw was like the remnants of a Nest camera, not even the Nest camera, right? Like it was clear to him that they had been removed, which is not the same thing as destroyed. The sheriff is saying that they were destroyed right before we got to them. So he made it sound like they were destroyed by the perpetrator here, by the bad guy.
Sheriff didn't say on the news conference that the cameras were destroyed. Brian Enton shot that video and asked, the cameras are missing. Did law enforcement take them or did the perpetrator take them? And the response from the sheriff was, yes, we noticed that too. We're looking into it. And so, look, I can tell you, you know this, Pima County, there's not a lot of crime there. I'm trying to think of the last major thing that happened. I think it was Gabby Giffords being shot there, 15 years ago, 20 years ago? And so I think he's working in real time, and trying to protect his investigation, keep the integrity, and answer real questions he wasn't expecting maybe, and couching, his verbiage as best he can. But he didn't say, oh, we don't know that we took the cameras, or no, there never was a camera there. He said, yes, we noticed that too, and we're investigating that. We got them.
It seems to me like he would be like, oh, that's us. We, they were smashed, but we took them, or something like that.
That has added that they were destroyed.
And multiple. I don't know the location of the other one. My guessing, and it's just me, would be backdoor.
Yeah, that's where you put the Nest camera.
My source also said, and this is musings, not evidence or information. Who takes an 84-year-old woman who can't walk well on her own? It is a burden. It is a troublesome endeavor. It makes you more susceptible to being caught. You now have a problem on your hands. What are you going to do with this person without anybody seeing? And it stands to reason. It's very unusual for some random burglar to take.
It just seems to me like it might have been like an argument and they hurt her and they didn't mean to hurt her. And then they were like, oh shit, now I got to, I just feel like something like that, because why would you take an elderly woman that can't walk? It just seems like you would end her life there if that's what your plan was. Like you wouldn't take her somewhere and end her life. You would just do it there. Or maybe this is a ransom, or what I'm leaning towards is that it's somebody she knows that, it was 9:30, so it's not out of the boundaries of it probably is too late to stop by a 87-year-old woman or however old she was house at 9:30. That is borderline too late. But maybe they showed up, she answered the door, and then it went south.
The person, if something happens.
It's not a random burglar. No, I agree. So it's either somebody who's kidnapping her and wants money for a ransom.
Because 9:30 is borderline too late for me. Don't show up at my house at 9:30 because that'll worry me. That'll scare me, and I might not answer it.
As a revenge because they dislike her, or maybe Savannah or another family member, or it could have been
personal
murder.
musings again.
It could have been a murder that they were then removing the body from the crime scene.
That's even worse because again, now it's on your hands to get rid of the body, and the evidence is now in your car and all the rest. It's not that it hasn't happened. It has. It's more likely that a random person would leave that.
I'm not so sure I believe in the ransom notes yet. I don't know. I'm not so sure that I don't believe that the ransom notes are just by sick individuals. I'm not convinced by the ransom notes quite yet. So Are you guys feeling like the ransom notes are I guess I would have to, we haven't even gotten to see the ransom notes. I was hoping somebody would get it from that that channel that showed the notes. What was it? TMZ. I was hoping someone would be able to read their notes, but they couldn't, obviously, because it hasn't popped up on the internet yet.
A body in the house and get a clean getaway with no DNA evidence in the car if that's possible. But the other random musings was that something like this, and again, these are the random musings, this is not evidence. This kind of a crime typically requires a benefit. And like you mentioned, the ransom notes, musings are baloney. that, you don't email a ransom note to TMZ or a local, station. It's not normal. It's not usual. And that time frame as well. Ransom notes usually come pretty quickly. This was 72 hours later. So, and look, I can't wait for that investigation to yield some idiot that thought that they were going to get some Bitcoin out of a tragic situation. It makes me, they're just festering
It's
parasites.
so disgusting. It's disgusting, but we live in a world where we're finding out that there's a lot of disgusting shit going down, and it was going down right underneath our noses, right in front of our faces. So it's time that we just start believing what's being said and told to us and believe it, right? I just want to take a quick look. I did update, and I'm trying to see if there's any press conferences that are going to be announced for you, but I don't really see any. So I think that's where we'll end our report on the Nancy Guthrie situation. What do you guys think? I heard they asked for a cryptocurrency in the ransom note, but that note might not be legit. Yeah. I don't know if the note is legit. It just seems really weird to me. Really sus. If there was a ransom note, the kidnapper probably sent it as a red herring. No, that's another possibility. Yeah, it's just confusing. It is. We need to know more, and they said that they were going to give us an update today. I just wanted to round this off with heading over to Christina's channel. I just want to see what Christina is up to. Christina is the woman that Lauren called the stalker over, I don't know, like in a 9.5 hour live. She did it many times. And we just want to support Christina, see what she's up to, see if she's got any new things. It's so funny too, because here we see like this has 323 views, and she's so worried about Christina. Well, now she's not, because all's good and well, and she's safe and fine now. She's no longer being stalked, and she's not fearful for her life anymore. This is in your 30s, an ex-friend will be upset. Oh, this is one of those ones where this is what you should do. This is a popular TikTok thing where in your such and such, you're going to be asked to do this. And it's very important that you do this because it's going to help you out a lot. So when someone tries to use the legit system to silence you and the judge says it's not a tool for hurt feelings. For context, several people in this video were later accused publicly of on a live stream after the case was dropped. Yeah, that's important to note too. The case was already dropped, and she decides to go live and show this. Funny, we thought we would go to court that day and it would be over. Little did we know. Find that friend instead that always lets you down easy with an O. Preach. Yeah. So it's important, Christina, that you take that friendship and you allow the other friendships to grow and bloom, and they'll bring you to us who will support you. So it's important that you never shut up. How about that? Editing our CrimeCon weekend. Let's see if there's music.
Do you ever come to drug dealership?
Okay, there's not. So this is her CrimeCon. This is more on the CrimeCon. I have a sneaky feeling that Christina is going to start talking a little bit more and telling us a little bit more of what went down at CrimeCon. I just feel that.
To drug dealership.
Yeah. Swoops, you messed up.
Like, I really want the kid who's supposed to send my
Do not lie on me.
Judges.
I'm Christina. I had a feeling she was going to pull this.
It's a no contact order.
Oh, I've never contacted her.
They haven't served you with it. That's the other.
They just did.
Okay. Shit.
Oh, and that's not ours.
I want to go let out a good cry.
Lauren's gonna have me arrested. The stretch she left it so late. I said, can I hang out in the car? The police, yes, I could be walking down a hallway, could go to an Uber and be 500 feet from someone I don't know is a professional associate.
Their action is about they're surrounding me. It's okay. She ID'd me just now. You might not want to be next to me.
I told you.
I'm aware of just a little bit of what's going on.
Yeah. Here for the past 2 hours. Doesn't matter.
Because you're the restraining party in the state of Colorado. Of restraining order, what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, Christina's a nice person. She has came in here. She's sent me some email or an email, and she's just like a nice person. She's left some comments or somebody. I don't know if she sent me an email, but part of the Stalking OG crew did. And I don't know. I just feel like we can't forget the victims in this. And I am shocked. I didn't know that Ashley was in the Epstein files. I know I was like, I heard that Sheriff Judd O'Grady from Florida, the one that's always talking about the essays, people that he's been capturing, he's in it. He's in the Epstein files. So I'm telling you guys, right or left, they're all shady. They're all shady. It's the elite and us. You have more in common with the other side. If you're a Democrat, you have more in common with the Republican than you do the people in Congress, Washington, the people in Hollywood. You have more in common with your neighbor who might be the opposite of what you are than you do those people. And they want to keep us fighting because they're getting our energy, our negative energy, and they're feeding off of it. And two, that they're doing all kinds of stuff. All kinds of stuff are happening under the radar now because everybody's fighting. So just keep your eyes and ears open. Okay, guys, I think that's all I have for today. Let me just make sure I went through everything that I wanted to show you. Yep, I think so. I thought this was an interesting thing over. I'll finish it off with this. We'll go out on this. I thought this was funny over on our Hidden True Crime chat and Reddit. Grayson. Christina needs to sue. I'm not really sure if she will. It would be nice if she would. You're welcome. It's so good to see you, Anders. Good morning. The way in the beginning, but McSpunky is a large donator in several channels. Vinnie Politan made a song just for McSpunk. Oh, that's where I've heard that name, on Vinnie Politan. Yep. When he enters chat, he hops around a lot of channels dropping money. Yes, that's where I've heard it, over on Vinnie's. And he's been on his, I've seen him up on his panel too, I think. Thanks. Disappointing. You actually contacted his office for some of the criminal justice reform work. I am proposing a Polk County, Florida, headed by Grady Judge is the epitome of responsible LE. I don't know. I feel like I don't trust anybody right now. If the abductor wanted a ransom, he would have taken her meds to keep her alive. Yeah, like I just, after 5 days, is she even alive without her medication? And she was on pain meds, so she's definitely in withdrawals if they're not giving her pain meds for 5 days. Yeah, I just don't even know. I don't know. When I say those things out loud, then the thought comes back with, I can't see how she could still be alive, but I still hope she is. I really do. too many holes in this story. Yeah, it's just very upsetting. Our prayers definitely go out to the Guthrie family. We are praying that Nancy comes home alive and she's found, and at the very least that the family gets answers to where she is and this is solved. Yeah, Junie's being a good boy today. He's being a really good boy today. But I think he knows I feel better today because, yeah, he's being really good. Aren't you, baby bird? I don't like the Capitol Hill arguments take my energy. I was always taught to think globally and act locally, which is why I get involved at the local level. Yeah, I mean, that's your best bet right now, if you are very political, because if you're trying to think that you're going to get anything changed in the White House right now, you're not. I mean, that's gonna have to, I've been talking to people trying to figure out, and it's very hard. I mean, they have tried to impeach that man over and over again. I mean, it's either gonna have to run its course or something terrible is gonna happen. And so it's better to just start looking at your local politics, because that's where you're gonna start making the most change. Because but that's just my opinion. You do what you want to do, because I'm also big on not telling people what they should do. So, but I agree. Okay, guys, I'm going to head out of here. I wanted to show you this gray bay. We are going to swing our antenna back over to Grayson and talk about her DoorDash lawsuit next, unless something else pops up. Tomorrow we have Florida Woman Friday, and we're going to be covering the Sarah Boone. She's got some more jail calls out. Sorry, I'm distracted. I'm trying to wind this up and I'm feeling distracted. So we've got some new jail calls coming out with Sarah Boone, and yeah, that's what we're going to do tomorrow. And if nobody's told you this today, and even if they have, I do not care. I'm still going to tell you guys this. I love and appreciate you guys so, so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.
That's false. I was there. You weren't. But rich of her. She's an attorney. I don't know. She wasn't there. You know who else was there? Me. Right. You know who was there? I've actually just been really disgusted by somebody in their, 60s or 70s doing that. That's actually really disgusting.
In her 70s. Yeah, that is.
She wasn't there with Lauren on the days that Lauren was considering doing that, or.
Well, that's disturbing.
I'll never forget the day. I remember. Yeah.
She didn't do it. Tell us about it.
It was horrific. Me not considering it, but felt like she was going to. Was there? Her husband. You know who? John cried. And John said, by what she says, then leave your videos up. There's no reason to take them down.
And if you delete something from the internet, somebody's got it. You know, if you're worried about it, somebody's got it somewhere. So
I got it. I download all those before they go down.
There you go. So
they're not actually gone. You might not have them up, but I have them.
Exactly.